Capital Subaru, we value your time, whether you're here for service or working with our amazing sales team. Everything is right here for your convenience. We offer a great selection of Subarus, an industry-leading service center that keeps you moving, and so much more. Like our living green wall, just one of the many features throughout our dealership. Looking for the perfect pet gift? Check out Happy Paws Pet Shop right here in our lobby. Or plan your next adventure in our fireside seating and find your happy place. It's always your time at Capital Subaru, your way on the Parkway.
Hello everybody and welcome into Charlotte, North Carolina, where we set the stage tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway for what is going to be the longest race of the season for the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series. It's the Capital Auto Charlotte 300 and you are watching on Ghost Racing Network. Thank you all so much for tuning in. We get ready for a good one tonight as the drivers have wrapped up qualifying. So with that, let's get right down trackside and take a look at your starting grid here on the night. Taking the pole, it's going to be Sean Kaltenbach making his return again. Not a rookie, but we haven't seen him around this season really, but he makes a return here tonight at Charlotte, puts down a 29.1. Kyle Oakley will roll off on his outside in second. Jeff Shutt back in third with Tyler Marble in fourth. Alan Pajari for Dynamic Autosports will roll off, rounding out the top five. Jared Bundy in sixth. Jeffrey Souza back in seventh with Wes Hurd Jr. in eighth. Andrew Mraz in ninth, and Brian Conklin rounds out your top 10. Moving on back to row number 6, it's last week's All-Star race and Open winner, G.T. Hawkins, the rookie, looking to see if he can get it done here tonight. And Bill Benedict to his outside. Quentin Clark, Anthony Hanley make up row number 7. Austin Fitzgerald, Brandon Saylor in row number 8. Thomas O'Hara back in 17th. Jacob Musso in 18th. Scott Glasso in 19th. And Tracy Powers rounding out your top 20. Taio Polito, the rookie for Dynamic Autosports, starts 21st. Michael Mueller in 22nd. Danny Gutierrez and Cody Matthews making up row number 12. Ryan Shiro, Jeff Marble in row 13. Glenn Grigsby and Todd Shiro in row 14. Rachel Hunt, Mark Sabak round out the top 30. It's Ryan Haynes 31st. Andrew Russo in 32nd. Kenneth Bartholomew 33rd with Brett Spod in 34th. Johnny McCulchuk in 35th. Matthew Gearinger in 36th. And Christopher Hall rounding out the field tonight. He will start in 37th. Looking at the race info here tonight, 200 laps, again, longest race of the season at 300 miles, 100% fuel, extra set of tires to support the extra length here tonight as well. So it'll be 5 total, 4 sitting in the pits. No fast repairs, open setups, 3 green, white checkers. Weather going to be changing all night, but the wind 7 miles an hour right now, 85 degrees with a track temp of just under 90 degrees. Charlotte Motor Speedway, 1.5 miles in length. And one of the best tracks on the circuit, one of the best mile and a halfs at least. And here we go. The Capital Auto Charlotte 300 is underway. Lap 1 complete at Charlotte, and it is still Sean Kaltenbach right now, the leader. And he's going to have his hands full, as right now this is kind of that first point that everybody has a chance to see what their car can do on a short run now. Granted, with it being one of the crown jewel races, everybody putting in a little bit more practice than maybe some of the others. There's a lot on the line here tonight, as along with being the Capital Auto and, of course, one of the crown jewels, it is a No Bull 5 race. And so that means guys are going to have the opportunity to potentially help their point standings for that extra $50 that will be awarded at the end of the season. But right now, again, still a hot start for Sean Kaltenbach. He continues to lead. It is Jeff Shutt, who currently runs in second in the Capital Auto group. Chevy Camaro, boy, he's looking for a good run here tonight. Of course, brought on Capital Auto Group as one of the sponsors, and if he could take home a win and one of kind of his, we'll call it a home race in terms of the sponsorship deal, I know he'd be a happy man here tonight, but he's got a lot of work still ahead of him if he wants to get the job done. Moving on back through the field, everybody getting single filed out now. Still a little bit of 2x2 racing. The further back you go, the more you see it. And that outside groove here, it is, I don't know if it's going to be the preferred lane yet or not, but it is certainly a valuable lane that you can use to make some positions if you use it at the right time. Now, tires are going to wear out, things are going to change around, but it's going to get harder and harder to make up track position as this race goes on. And we're going through a transition, right? I mean, we talked about what the weather was here at the start, but look at the sim time. 19:35, that translates to just after 7:30, so the sun's going to continue to go down here at Charlotte, and as it does, this track's going to cool off as lights come on. Things are going to change, and who knows, maybe we see somebody that's struggling a little bit now start to come to life a little bit later, or maybe the opposite, somebody who's good now maybe starts to fade a little bit later. It's going to be fun to see all night. Top of that, we got a lot of patriotic paint schemes. Everybody helping to support and remember the military here on Memorial Day. Hope everybody is having a good Memorial Day at that. And so we'll be looking through some of those paint schemes as well, as now Andrew Mraz for Riot Motorsports has found his way to the front. And so Jared Bundy advances to second. I meant to say Sean Kaltenbach. He's the man that's fallen right now, as he has fallen all the way back to the third position. Jeff Shutt falling to fourth, Oakley in fifth, Tyler Marble back in sixth. And then side by side for seventh, as it looks like the 98 here of Anthony Handley is going to be able to take that position from Alan Pajari. And I said how big of a race this could be for a couple guys, and you know, two of the names that come to mind right out of the gate were, of course, Sean Kaltenbach, who's making his return, and then the 27 of Jeff Shutt, who's come close a lot of times this season, but he's had the skill, the talent to lead laps, and he's led them, but it just hasn't quite worked out. So maybe tonight will be his night. We'll have to find out. But the other name, and it's the driver that we're looking at right now, and that is Anthony Handley, the rookie for Riot Motorsports, and maybe the only rookie, fair to say, on that team that has not come out of the gates firing. And I know that, you know, we're a little bit deeper into the season than he'd like to be without a little bit better results, but he's still working with these guys each and every week. Helps the team gain speed through the setups, of course, but man, he would like to grab that first win and join the rest of the guys. Quentin Clark, of course, Andrew Mraz is leading right now, and then Michael Mueller. And again, maybe tonight's his night. One of the best runs he's had so far, as the car's fired off good early, up 9 positions already from where he started, sitting in that 5th position. Back even further, side by side now. This is the battle between Brian Conklin, who's running a different scheme than what we're used to seeing. Good looking colors on that. Number 37 Chevy Camaro. And then on his outside here, how about the 12? Wes Hurd Jr., he's trying to go to the front. There's GT Hawkins, the rookie sensation. Didn't make his first start last week. From what we heard, it was actually the week before, but got his first win and actually got his first 2 wins last week in the All-Star race at North Wilkesboro. Got the job done in the Open. Didn't have to win it, had to place top 6 to advance, but by winning it, he made himself eligible for the bonus if he could win both, and that's exactly what he did. Won the actual All-Star race and took home a total of $30 in prize money, and he's coming into tonight's race with a ton of confidence. What a cluster we got right now towards the middle portion of the pack. I mean, there is no separation right here, as everybody just continues to try to, I guess, find room. It seems like it's really tough to pass here. Traffic's going to be even tougher as the race goes on, but I mean, you look at some of the names back here that you know have fast pace, especially when we get to the longer run, and I'm interested to see if a guy like Jeff Marble is going to be able to work through this traffic as quick as he would like. It's going to be tough right now. He's got the Folds of Honor paint scheme. Jeff Marble, Honor Memorial Day as well. Good looking colors for that. Number 15, Dark Horse Mustang, and his teammate, the rookie, Brandon R. Saylor, just in front of him. Ty Iopolito, who, by the way, and maybe this is a good time to mention it, he is currently leading in the Noble 5-point standing, and that's big news because with this being a race for that tonight, if he can get another good run, I'm not going to say he's locked it up, because by no means he has, but man, that's really going to give him kind of that extra boost he would need to start feeling a little bit more comfortable. As the way the points stand now, it is Ty Iopolito leading, Danny Gutierrez in second, Jeff Marble third, Jake Hickson fourth, and Michael Mueller fifth. Again, for the Noble 5 points challenge. And you got to remember, it's the driver with the best average finish after 5 tracks that were named at the beginning of the season. Daytona was the first one, Talladega the second, Charlotte here tonight the third, and then we'll have 2 more after with Darlington, followed by Bristol, which will be the final one. So again, best average finish through all 5 races, and Iopolito could have asked for a better start. I believe he got second the season opener Daytona, and then, of course, won at Talladega. So if he gets a top 5 here tonight, he may be looking at a walkway with it, depending on how the other two go. Andrew Mraz still leads the gap, now up to almost 2 seconds for the 97 car. And with this race being 200 laps, similar to the real-life one, I think you almost, as a driver, you need to break this up in your head. You cannot go into this race, at least at the point we are now, and be thinking about the fact that you've still got, 186 laps to go. I think you got to just take a step back and break this thing down into stages. Now, we don't have stages here in the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series, but just let yourself know now. Say, hey, let's make it through the first 50, then we'll go to the next 50, so on and so forth. And I think it's really going to be that final 50, maybe even shorter than that, final 25 to 30 laps. That's when, as a driver, you take all that you've built on all night and you put it all together and run as hard as you can. But right now, it's a battle of endurance. Everybody trying to survive, and so far, so good as everybody continues to keep it clean here with 16 laps complete. Jeff Marble back in the 17th position. Bill Benedict in 18th. Danny Gutierrez 19th. Good looking scheme on Danny. Of course, we appreciate him each and every week, as he always puts the Ghost Racing Network logo on board his 08 Dark Horse Mustang. And then Brandon Saylor, Ty Ippolito, the two rookies still battling. That's Andrew Russo just behind. He's up 10 positions from where he started, by the way. So he's making moves as, I'll tell you what, right now, and I think this is actually only going to get better as we progress into the night, but there is a lot of racing. I mean, this track looks extremely racy right now. The amount of passes, I know we haven't seen a lot of lead changes, but the amount of passes we're seeing mid-pack is kind of encouraging and contradictory to what I thought earlier with there not being much passing. I mean, we're seeing a lot of guys making moves, making separate lanes work, as you see Rachel Hunt look to the outside of Glenn Grigsby, who we currently ride on board with. Grigsby just wrapping the bottom of the racetrack. You saw Rachel Hunt, she was working the top, but as she gets clear, she's going to dive down to the bottom. Now, you notice anytime we go to a quad oval here and you're in traffic running this close, sometimes you got to be careful to not clip the grass down the front stretch. And I'll show you what I'm talking about in just a moment, but here at Charlotte, it is artificial turf, so you don't have to worry quite as much about it. If you just clip it, car will be fine, but you do get an X's. Oh, Rachel Hunt, big moment there in the middle of 3 and 4 as she slipped up a little bit. Oh man, again, out of 4, the 61 is getting loose. But here you go, Glenn Grigsby, a lap around Charlotte, over 180 miles an hour top speed at the end of the front stretch, and this is in traffic, but he is getting a pull with the draft. Noticing though, it seems like his car is really getting tight. Seen some other drivers such as Rachel, she seems to be getting a little bit loose, but other people getting tight, and that's just, again, how everybody makes their setup. Rachel moving up a couple lanes to try to help that car, and I tell you what, it's off a turn 4. That's a really slick part of the racetrack. 1 and 2 isn't too bad, and actually, as a driver, even though this track's built the same on both sides, 1 and 2 feels a lot wider. You feel like you can run a lot faster, and overall just a smoother corner. 3 and 4 feels a lot tighter. You feel like you have to get out of the gas a lot more. And then, of course, you got to get a little bit loose on exit here. Watch, we're going to go actually just a couple spots ahead here. Oh, we got one going around. That's Ty Ippolito. Hold on to it. He does. The 19 with a big moment here as he is going to lose all sorts of positions now. I think he got some help there. He saved it, so he's going to be okay. But, boy, what a close call that was for the Dynamic Autosports rookie here early on. And I think this starts with him getting a little bit loose, and then he gets a little bit of help here. That's exactly what it looks like happens there. The 19 just slips up, and then the 95 of Jacob Musso had nowhere to go. Maybe made slight contact, but did a good job keeping it off of him enough so that he could save it. And he did do just that. So as we go back live, turn our attention back to the front of the field because the battle for the lead is heating up. Angel Mraz under fire here from Jared Bundy. Jared Bundy, one of those drivers, always a great qualifier here tonight. Pretty good qualifying effort at that in 6th, but he wants more here as he will take the lead away from that 97. So maybe a bit of a battle of tire saving early, and it looks like the man who saved more tire was Jared Bundy. Also in this mix, Quentin Clark, teammate to the 97 of Mraz, so we'll see what he does right here. It looks like he's going to make a move to the inside down the back. Nope, can't quite make it happen, so we'll have to duck back down the line just briefly here. By the way, we do have a lot of guys carrying onboard cameras for us here tonight, and as always, we do appreciate it. And let's start first with the man who just took the lead, and actually this is a first-time onboard view here that we've got for Jared Bundy. Getting his first laps led tonight, but I know he's normally got a spotter. And right now, just letting the driver know you got the lead, you got the clean air. Just settle in here, don't push it. You got the speed, you got the speed to get up there, you just did it. And now, just take care of your stuff, save some tire here so that if you get in another battle, you can maybe hold off what looks to be here, potentially a charging Quentin Clark as, 97 Mraz back there. You see him getting a little bit tight in the wake of Quentin Clark, his teammate. And so Bundy will look to pull away here, but the battle for third on back, it's the one that's starting to catch my attention now, is Kaltenbach and the 17 of Kyle Oakley. Two beautiful looking Fords. They're looking to make something happen right here. Oakley still looking for his first win of the season. Again, came so close at Bristol earlier in the season, but unfortunately came up just short. Good looking camo paint scheme. Honoring the military as well here tonight for Kyle Oakley. And it looks like a bit of a crossover here from Mraz. Can he make it work? He's going to get there. We'll see here. Does he complete the pass? I just think that 97 is getting a little too tight, and actually, that's exactly what it is. I was just getting ready to say, at this point in the run, from what we're starting to see here, I think the majority of the passes may actually move up to the top of the racetrack. Seems like it's just getting really tough for a lot of guys to keep the car planted on the bottom and still have enough momentum to maintain on exit. Kaltenbach now pulling a draft off of Quentin Clark. Going to see what he can do there. As Tyler Marble in the 48, another driver that we have with an onboard view as he battles the rookie GT Hawkins. Hawkins, by the way, up 4 from where he started. Tyler Marble down 2. But, you know, I know we talk about Jeff Marble being one of the guys that comes to mind when you think of a long-run setup, but Tyler Marble, another one of the veterans who is on Team Marble iRacing, and so you know he's going to be bringing a decent piece to the track as well each and every week. And usually maybe favored towards the medium to long run. And right now, seems to be working pretty good. Driver out of Buffalo, New York, Michael Mueller. The 99 machine has made up a couple positions from where he started this race at. Actually, more than a couple. Your biggest mover inside the top 10 as he's up 14 positions from where he started this race at. And it always amazes me, you know, as a driver, you know, I know I'm not as good as these guys, but I'll do races, and I'll tell you what, if I don't qualify, it takes me so long to get through the field. And then you see a guy like Michael Mueller just go and tear through the field like it's nothing. It's incredible the skill level that a lot of these guys possess. As got some trouble back here for Brett Spod, who's taking a detour here. The BMP Racing 35 machine with a bit of an incident here early. Doesn't look like he's sustained any damage, but certainly not the path he wanted to take down the front stretch, as we'll back this up and see what got him that way. Either got a little help or got loose off of 4, which again has been pretty treacherous so far from what we've seen. And I think it's going to be a mixture of both here. Play this here full speed for you in just a minute, but let's shift the view here to the chopper. All right, here we go. This is going into turn 3. Watch the 35 here. Middle of the corner. He gets tight, gets up the racetrack. Now he starts coming back down, and as he does, looks like the 10 of Matthews is going to get tight as well, and that's just bad timing. I mean, it's just two guys racing hard. Nobody really doing anything wrong. And Cody Matthews, he's getting a little bit tight, and like I said, at the same time, Brett Spod's coming back down. So just maybe two guys fighting for the same piece of real estate with two cars that aren't handling quite the way they'd like, but it's an innocent spin. I mean, he does a phenomenal job saving it. You see that's concrete there to his left, and he came probably within about 10 feet or so of hitting it. And as I said, goes through that artificial turf. Is able to merge back on track without any further incident. Give you one more view here. He stays in the throttle, and man, that was close. I think if he stayed in it any longer, that car would have been beyond saving, but got out of it just in time. And as we go back and check on him now, looks like he has fallen back to 35th. Second to last car on track, just in front of Christopher Hall. And then, oh no, what happened here? Anthony Handley, the 98, the driver who we thought was going to have such a good shot coming into tonight. He's had major drama here. What in the world happened here? This was just about a lap ago when we were looking at the Brett Spod incident. Watch the 98 here. Going through 1 and 2, clean here. I think it's going to maybe happen in 3 and 4 or the backstretch right here. Oh no, and that's a race ender. And Jeff Shutt also involved. Oh, that's heartbreak for the 98 early. That is not the way you want to have a 300-mile event end before you even get again to the first quarter of this race complete. It just looked like he got, like I said, a little bit loose here, and then Jeff Shutt on his inside, just wrong place at the wrong time. Watch it here slowly, the 98. I think that's all it is there. And that's a really interesting spot to see him get loose because it seems like everybody's been handling okay there. And if Jeff Shutt's not on his inside, he maybe saves it. And, of course, then the 27 isn't involved either. But, again, just wrong place, wrong time. Now, the good news for Jeff Shutt is that does not look like a hard hit for that 27 car. It is a hard hit, though, and a race-ending hit for the 98, who, even if he returns, probably won't be for at least another 10 minutes. He will be handfuls and handfuls of laps down and not going to be able to recover from this one. Here's the onboard view for Anthony Hanley. I'm sure he'd probably tell you he maybe felt like I don't know. Sometimes as a driver you would think he'd say, you know, he was trying to get a little too much too early. But again, the car looked pretty stable here and then just came around on him all out of nowhere. There's the contact and trying to save it, but that inside safer barrier comes up quick, and there's just nowhere to go. As you see it destroy, rip off the front end, and destroy the suspension as well for the 98. Looks like they have gotten the front end on and continues to get repairs done, but again, I just unfortunately don't see him being able to really come back from the damage that he has sustained in this one. Back up front, Jared Bundy currently being scored as your leader. Sean Kaltenbach in second, GT Hawkins third, Kyle Oakley fourth, and Quentin Clark rounds out your top five. By the way, it's surprised to not see that bring out the caution. Big of a hit that was, but it was off the racing surface, and sometimes that does play a role, as Scott Glasso here has now had some trouble. This was just literally a few seconds ago, and similar issue to what we've seen for a couple people, just getting loose off of four. Doesn't go quite as off track as we saw Brett Spod, but that still cost him at least probably 5 to 6 positions as he settles back into 17th now. All right, well, as we see the 98 of Anthony Hanley, who sits in 37th, continue to sit in the pits. Let's go see if we can get a quick interview with him there on what exactly went wrong with the incident that we saw him involved in there just a few laps ago. Hey, Anthony, this is Austin up in the booth. Got a copy?
Yes, sir. How you doing, Austin?
Well, man, I'm good. Unfortunately, we saw the speed early for the 98. Next thing we know, we see in the fence. What happened there coming off of turn 2?
Got a tad bit loose, and then 27 just, I mean, he didn't have any time to react, and he just smacked me, and hey, that's what it is. It's just racing. He apologized. It's all good.
Well, man, I hate to ask this question as if I'm maybe pushing the envelope, but, you know, when it's a 300-mile race, you come in so much ambition. And, you know, as a driver, how does it feel, all the work you put in and stuff, when it comes to an end that early?
It don't bother me much. I mean, I'm more of a team player. I work almost every single day of the week working on the setup for the team. And as long as they do good, hey, I'm fine with it.
Well, I'll tell you what, you certainly had speed here tonight. It was a promising run, even though it came a lot shorter than you would have liked to see. But nonetheless, you still got teammates on the track here tonight, so we'll let you go, continue the repairs. Is there any chance that the 98 makes it back on track, though, tonight?
No, sir. Times like this, if I get wrecked out, I'm not pulling back on the track. I'm not going to ruin anybody else's race with my slow car. So, hey, full speed ahead for everybody else.
Well, we appreciate you talking to us, Anthony. Again, sorry for the early exit, but good speed early, and we'll see if maybe one of the other boys can get it done tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Austin.
All right, there you go. And I know we mentioned it early, but that's what it's all about. You know, when you come to an open setup series, you need guys that know how to work on them. And Anthony Hanley, very knowledgeable at it, does a great job at helping these guys prep. And may not have been his night, but you know what? As much as he's working behind the scenes, he could still be a happy guy. He could see one of his teammates potentially go to victory lane with a set that he helped work on here tonight. See if it pans out that way. A little bit of 2x2 action here between Saylor and Powers. Lacey Powers, good-looking U.S. Air Force paint scheme that he's got on here tonight. And then Danny Gutierrez trying to pull up to this mix as well. How about the 20 of Ryan Shiro? Got the Toys R Us Nerf Blaster scheme on tonight. Ran this a few times last season. And it's a cool-looking scheme at that. He's got it on board for us here as well. as we're about 7 laps away from being just a quarter of the way through, again, this 200 lap, 300 mile event. And when we say it's the longest race of the season, you know, you look at the crown jewel events, Daytona, of course, being one of them, and I may miss one here, but these are the ones that as a driver I would have circled on the calendar here, rather the schedule, as we go through the season. Daytona is number 1. I think that's got to be probably the biggest one of the season, but this race right here, which I was getting ready to say the Coke 600, but the Charlotte for the long race, the Brickyard, and then I forgot if they go to Darlington twice or just once now. Darlington would be another. Actually, no, they do go twice, I believe. But nonetheless, Darlington would be the other. And there might have been one more. It'd be the Bristol night race as well. Those are the ones I have circled. But for these guys, they might have just the Noble 5 races circled and count those as all the crown jewels. Of course, any race that has the Capital Auto name before it is one of the big races, as tonight is. So as Jared Bundy continues to lead and continues to extend his lead, as he now has it up to almost 2 seconds, which was the gap that we saw Angie Moraz get before he started to lose it and then eventually lost the lead after multiple laps. It is GT Hawkins who has made his way up to second, up 9 from where he started. And I don't know the last time I've seen this, but for a rookie, you know, well, actually I do know when I saw it at the beginning of the season with the Riot Motorsports teammates and what they were able to do with bursting out of the gate with all the speed they had early on. But for a rookie to come in his first race, and I don't even know that GT Hawkins is necessarily on a team here. He might just be one of the independent drivers. So for him to come in this late in the season and, you know, join in the All-Star race just a week before, already get 2 wins under his belt, even though it wasn't a points race. And then tonight to have what's looking like right now a very fast car. This is a promising sign for what could be potentially, you never know, a championship appearance, or excuse me, a playoff berth, even after joining late on in the season. Now again, we still got a long ways to go in this race, but already let's see how the weather's changed here just a little bit. And in fact, looks like it's almost 8 o'clock now, sim time, and this race is going to go for quite a while. Potentially could go into the night here depending, but track temp looks like is actually increased here a little bit. Now sits at 92. Remember, it was 88 when we started the race. That might have been maybe a little bit of cloud cover or something when we started versus what it is now. But again, as that sun goes down, especially once it gets behind the grandstands here, we'll see if we can get a quick scenic view of that. And I'm not going to show it too much from there. I mean, you can see the cloud cover a little bit there on the top right. But the point is, as that sun continues to go down, eventually that track temp will start a trend where it goes down and it will not come back up. It will just continue to decrease. As here you go, Austin Fitzgerald, another driver who we know loves the long runs, brings long run setups to these endurance races, and here you go. He's up 11 positions from where he started. Just got around Kyle Oakley. That puts him up to 4th. And he's still almost 4.5 seconds, actually just over 4.5 seconds off of your leader, but he's going to slowly try to reel him in here over the course of the next couple of laps, or excuse me, the next multiple tens of laps, as we will complete lap 50, officially a quarter of the way through. That puts us now with just 151 to go. By the way, pit stops, and when we see that window opening, not sure exactly. Again, they have 100% fuel in these cars, so if I had to guess, I'd say at the most, I don't see them going any more than, and even 70 laps might be pushed into here for these guys. Maybe somewhere between probably now and the next 15 laps, I'd say, is the general window here at the start. And, you know, if you want to break this up in a strategy, if you feel like it's going to go green all the way, maybe you do pit now. And in fact, I think we are seeing that. We are. Oh, huge hit for Brett Spod. That'll bring the caution out as he destroys his number 35. Oh, man, I think that was just a pit exit mishap there for the 35. And boy, that was a huge impact. That is lucky that that did not collect any other cars. I mean, if there would have been a pack coming, and there was one not too far away here, this could have been tragedy right here. Watch this, though. 35, he's just going up to speed here, and he's going to get loose, and then he just overcorrects. Watch the overcorrection. Boom. Spins out. This car's going up the racetrack. Nothing he can do. Huge hit. And look at the cars right there. That's GT Hawkins, Colton Block, some of the front runners. As I think it was Jared Bundy who actually went by just before that. Fitzgerald. I mean, this could have been a lot worse had he came up maybe 5 seconds later or so, but you know, the big question was what went wrong. And like I said, I think it was just a pit exit mishap here in terms of he's just trying to get back up to speed. I think he's just going to get caught either on the apron or on that seam right there. It's the transition between the apron and the track that he gets caught on. The right sides, get up on it. Watch the car here. Gets loose. He's okay here, I think. Just puts just a little bit too much wheel back to the right. Was trying to hold on, and unfortunately, that's the result. So just as we were getting ready for what was going to be our first green flag pit stops of the night, we get our first caution here. 51 laps in. Car bounces up the track. Boom. Huge hit. Rips the front end off. I don't know if he broke any suspension, but again, similar to Anthony Hanley, that will be race-ending damage in terms of having any competitive chances. As Brett Spod, man, it was a struggle a little bit earlier in the race after contact between him and Matthews. Sent him through the grass, but he saved it. Recovered, lost positions. And now, though, he's going to do more than just lose some positions, as, again, he is stuck in the pits to damage. Good-looking scheme, though, as always, for Brett Spod. BMP Racing, one of the new sponsors for the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series this season. And him and his teammate, Ryan Haynes, they do a great job each and every week. One of the smaller teams, but they've produced results, and you hate to see it end like this here tonight. That is the nature of the beast here sometimes at Charlotte. As we go back up front, Jared Bundy is being scored as your leader. GT Hawkins in second. Austin Fitzgerald in third. Kyle Oakley back in fourth. Jeff Marble fifth. Sean Kaltenbach in sixth. Tyler Marble seventh. Jeffrey Souza eighth. Wes Hurd Jr. in ninth. And Alan Pajari currently rounds out your top 10. All right, well, let's see if we can bring in the 35 of Brett Spod here. See if he can break down again, similar to what we saw earlier, and just kind of ask him what happened there. Hey, Brett, this is Austin up in the booth. Got a copy?
I do.
Well, man, it looked like maybe just a little bit of a pit mishap. What exactly went wrong right there?
Well, I guess I got too close to that blue line, and I just lost it.
Well, it was unfortunate to see. It looked like you guys, you know, you had the trouble earlier with the 10 at Cody Matthews. Ryan Haynes has an okay run going so far, but with this setback, is there any chance that you're going to be able to get the car back out on track here tonight?
I haven't finished towing yet because I stopped. So once we get done towing, which is happening right now, then we'll figure out how much we got to do, and then we'll go from there and figure it out. Let's see. No, we're not coming back out. 32 minutes are required, so we're going to probably sit this one out.
Well, hate to see it end that way, man, but we appreciate you talking to us even after the incident, and hopefully we'll see you out again next week.
I think so.
There you go, Brett Spod. Unfortunate deal the way it ended right there, and I don't think I put that the best way at the end there. I said hopefully we see you out next week. I meant, of course, see him out in the race, not out of the race, as it unfortunately went tonight. And what he just said right there, I've done it before. It's just, sometimes it's just, you know, little things that you don't expect. And as many laps of practice as these guys run, that can never happen. And then all of a sudden, perfect circumstance right there. Maybe just catch a little bump, some piece of track you had never caught before. And it can turn that car right around as cross the stripes, get the one to go signal, and we will file them up back to 2x2 as it'll be Bundy on the inside, GT Hawkins on the outside. Austin Fitzgerald, Kyle Oakley in row number 2. Jeff Marble. I wonder if this is a little bit of strategy play here, or if the 15 has just been working his way up to the field. He now sits up 21 positions, though, from where he started in that 5th spot. Sean Kaltenbach 6th, Tyler Marble in 7th, Jeffrey Souza 8th, Alan Pajari in 9th, and Wes Hurd Jr. currently rounding out your top 10. Well, if you're just tuning in, we certainly appreciate you being here at just over the quarter-way mark here through the Capital Auto Charlotte 300 and the third of 5 Noble 5 races. And by the way, I might have said, I know I talked about earlier the setup for it and whatnot, but the driver that does have the highest averaging finish for that challenge wins $50 at the end of the season. So a nice extra bonus. And hey, if you're a guy like GT Hawkins, who's already won 30 here in just, was it 2 races, start racking up that money pretty quickly here if you continue to put the results together. Now, not sure if the 5's actually eligible for it. I don't believe he is, but Jared Bundy, telling you, still looking for a dark horse, an underdog pick who's looking to turn the tides here of the entire season with a win here tonight. We'll have to see what he can do. Here we go, second time. First restart, green flag, back in the air at Charlotte. Good restart for Jared Bundy. Quickly scoots away with the lead as they are pushing strong on the inside to try to get him clear. Sun continues to set in the background here at Charlotte Motor Speedway as GT Hawkins is going to fade a little bit. Can Fitzgerald get clear? Yes, he does. Austin Fitzgerald moves up to second, and that's a big move for him because that car has speed on the long run. The question is, how much can he gain or hold on to here in the short run? Jeff Marble running in a tight second, and it's just so interesting that these cars are handling as good as they are this tight together. You know, usually at these 1.5 mile and shorter tracks, we see when guys run that close in the wake of another car, they get a little bit aero tight, wash up the racetrack, but at least on the restart, everybody has fresh Goodyears. Looks like it's working pretty good right now. The 12 Lesser Jr. tries to fend off Danny Gutierrez. Tyler Marble looking for a move there on the inside. There's nothing doing. Ooh, man, he just slid across the nose right there of Kyle Oakley. Oakley maybe even had to cut out of the throttle there just a little bit, but it let the 48 slide away with one right there. In the middle of all this chaos, but further towards the back of it, Johnny McCulchuk, the driver that we have carrying an onboard camera for us here tonight. Johnny is up 8 positions from where he started this race at. Not the best qualifying effort. And by the way, checking in on his teammate, Jeff Shutt, who remember was involved in that incident with Anthony Handley earlier, and see that he was able to get that damage repaired and how he runs now. Looks like he sits back in that 31st position. Again, not sure how badly damaged the car was. He's not a lap down. That's the good news, and I'm sure he got whatever damage he had repaired under that last incident. Or excuse me, under that caution flag right there. But still, a setback that's going to be hard to recover from. But he's got plenty of time to do it. No need to rush it here, as that'll now move us up to the 21st position, where we find Brett Spott's teammate, the other BMP Racing driver. That is Ryan Haynes, the driver out of Center Hill, Florida. And he is up 10 positions from where he started. Right now, he is kind of in a little bit of an island by himself. He's got a couple guys behind him here, though, and a couple in front. And then last but certainly not least, the man who's made up the most positions right now inside the top 20, and that is Jeff Marble, who is up 21 positions from where he started, as he's going to lose the spot right there, though, to Sean Kaltenbach, one of the veterans who, again, not sure what the deal was, maybe personal reasons. We're not going to dig too deep into that, but Sean Kaltenbach, we didn't see him around for quite a bit this season. Remember, he was on one of the dominant teams last year with quite a few big teammates that we don't see back this season. And that was, of course, Team Watson Racing. And missing, I believe, let's see. I know they had, one of the guys on that team was, I believe it was Andrew. I don't know what his last name was. Then they had a couple of others too, or they had at least one more. I think it was Brian Curry. It might have been Brian Curry. I think that was, again, I apologize if I'm getting some of these guys' names wrong. I got a lot of leagues that I try to keep up with in terms of names. But usually we get them pretty good. Nonetheless, though, how about the battle for the lead right now between the rookie and Jared Bundy. Bundy with a faster qualifying effort tonight, but GT Hawkins, since the race started, has been going in one direction, and that is forward, as he is making it stick pretty good here on the inside. Again, shorter way around. I would look for him to maybe try a slide job here into one of these corners. If he can get a good enough arc, he'll try to send it in, get clear of the 3, and then slide up, but can't do it just yet. Now he gets clear. He's got to move up now, and he does. Jared Bundy's got to run. Will he take it? He will not. Jared Bundy with a very, very veteran and patient move right there says, all right, man, you've got more speed right now. No point in battling here and using up these tires. He'll let him go. Maybe try to get him back here at least, or in a couple laps, or potentially here in the long run if he's able to save a little bit more tire. And speaking of how that tire saving works, as a driver, of course, you can kind of feel it. The best we can do from up here where we're at is listen. And sometimes, well, you can actually hear it all the time, but the goal is to not overslide that right front, and then, of course, to not use up too much of that right rear, as those two tires are the ones that really affect the handling here. You use up the right front too much, car's going to get really tight. You use up the right rear too much, car's going to start to get really loose. maybe a little bit of both just in general as the run goes on, but something that most guys are able to manage at least pretty good through 50 laps, which is what we saw the distance be in that first run. Any further than that is still no man's land, as we have not gotten to that point just yet. 65 laps now complete, and we are going to go ahead and take our first break of the night, but we will go side by side so you don't miss a thing. Stick with us. We'll be right back at Charlotte.
Capital Subaru, we value your time. Whether you're here for service or working with our amazing sales team, everything is right here for your convenience. We offer a great selection of Subarus, an industry-leading service center that keeps you moving, and so much more. Like our living green wall, just one of the many features throughout our dealership. Looking for the perfect pet gift? Check out Happy Paws Pet Shop right here in our lobby. Or plan your next adventure in our fireside seating and find your happy place. It's always your time at Capital Subaru, your way on the Parkway. Capital Subaru, we value your time. Whether you're here for service or working with our amazing sales team, everything is right here for your convenience. We offer a great selection of Subarus, an industry-leading service center that keeps you moving, and so much more. Like our living green wall, just one of the many features throughout our dealership. Looking for the perfect pet gift? Check out Happy Paws Pet Shop right here in our lobby. Or plan your next adventure in our fireside seating and find your happy place. It's always your time at Capital Subaru, your way on the Parkway.
Welcome back to Charlotte Motor Speedway. 75 of 200 laps now complete for the Capital Auto Charlotte 300. I might have said 300 laps. I meant 200 laps, 300 miles. And out front, still no change from before we went to break. It is the rookie GT Hawkins leading right now just over half a second on Jared Bundy. Sean Kaltenbach rounding out the podium. Pajari in fourth and Wetzer Jr. in fifth. Jeff Marble battling with Austin Fitzgerald, and those are two of probably the most veteran experienced guys in the series when it comes to making a good long run setup. And right now, I think they're hoping that this thing continues to go green. And if you ever see those guys fading at the start of a run, that's a reason for that. That means they're saving tire. They feel like car's going to come to them a little bit later. And notice now, sky's getting darker and darker here at Charlotte. And if we go to the scenic, you can see it now. The sun has now officially dropped behind the grandstands. And so this track temp, it's going to start cooling down, and it's going to start cooling down here and probably pretty fast. Looking at it right now, it's only cooled down a degree since the sun did go behind the grandstands, but it is now 8:16, and we are transitioning in tonight. So again, setup's going to continue to change in terms of the way the cars are handling. Kyle Oakley, Tyler Marble, man, that was really tight right there off of turn number 2. These two side by side, and you know, we're not seeing a lot of it right now. Again, there's a lot of give and take here right now, which there should be. I mean, we still have well over 100 laps to go in this race, but you know, if you're on the outside, I'm thinking now from what we've seen tonight, the outside's the preferred lane if you pinch the guy that's on the inside down, because it's really tough to hold these cars down on the apron once you get deeper into the run. Now, on the short run and at the start, I think it's anybody's guess still, and you certainly are still guys that are able to make it work, as Tyler Marble just did right there. And so Oakley loses that spot, falls back tonight, still in the top 10 though. Quentin Clark, the 00, rounds out the top 10, and just behind him, Tracy Powers racing it out with the rookie here, Brandon Saylor. Tracy Powers, I feel like we don't talk about him enough, and the job he does and what he means to this series. We've seen in both seasons that we've been broadcasting here, one of the veterans in a Toyota Camry, but also one of the guys who's on an independent team. So he doesn't get all the help that some of the big teams get, but he's out here just about each and every week. He does a phenomenal job with what he's got. And he's up 9 here tonight, fighting again to potentially break his way into the top 10. Don't forget either, Tracy Powers at a couple of the super speedways we've been to, he's had a couple of close chances, a couple of close run-ins, if you will, with Victory Lane, but again, has not quite been able to secure that first win just yet. I think it's still potentially on the horizon, though, for that 25 machine. Andrew Russo in the 88. He's got the green and black gear wrench colors here tonight. He is up 17 from where he started, since broken in the top 15. Ryan Haynes continues to go forward as well, inside the top 20, 16. Scott Glasso had that setback earlier, and then Jeffrey Souza right now is down 11 positions from where he started. So it looks like he did get to qualify here tonight. Started, looks like in that 7th spot, but again has fallen back, so not sure if it's the handling that's not going too good right now for the 96 or what the deal is here. But Jared Bundy, he's hanging strong here. In fact, might be slowly but surely starting to actually reel back in that number 5 machine of GT Hawkins. Again, we talked about how he kind of let him go a little bit early, Jared Bundy that is, let GT Hawkins go early, didn't push the pace too hard, said okay, you can have it a little bit faster, but you know, maybe he was saving tire this whole time. Hawkins maybe is used to stuff up a little bit more, or maybe the handling's just getting better for the 3 car, whatever the case is. He is definitely slowly but surely starting to reel him in here. Now it's going to get tougher the closer he gets, because these tires are starting to get worn out here. And when you run in the dirty air of another car, the wake if you will, you don't get as much front downforce. And when the tires are already worn out, that car has a tendency to push up the track here. So he keeps closing it in, got it down to half a second. Now he's got it down to almost under 0.4 of a second. That draft helpful down the straights though, as it helps him pull closer to the back bumper, but then again harmful in the corner. So, you know, usually you'd say if you're GT Hawkins, you know, you need to change your lane to try to aero block wherever he's going. But I mean, right now he's running in the wake and he still continues to catch. So maybe if you're Jared Bundy and you get closer and it's not working, then you try to, you know, maybe look around, find some grip somewhere else. But there you go. See what he did right there? He peaked up the racetrack just a little bit, trying to get a little bit of clean air on the right side of that nose, maybe help the front end turn a little bit. And it worked big time. Here we go. He's got to run down the back. Not going to take it this time. Where does he go in 3 and 4? Runs in the same line this time. GT Hawkins, where does he go? Hawkins gets out of the corner a little sooner, gets a little loose. Another run here down the front stretch. Jared Bundy's getting ready to take a peek here. Not going to do it down into 1. He'll follow the 5. No, he's going to look a lane higher here. Diamonds it down into the corner. Wants to make sure that he gets that car turning the best he can. Now he's there. He's got another run. Will he take it this time? Still no move yet from Jared Bundy. I think he might be trying to force the rookie into a mistake right here. See if he can catch him off guard, and it looks like he might be doing just that. Hawkins, the car is not the way he wants it to. He got right up on his spoiler right there and got him a little bit loose. That's all he needed to get to the inside, and Jared Bundy looking to potentially set sail here as he ducks to the inside. He will get clear. And notice what GT Hawkins did right there. To a degree, kind of returned the favor. He realized that Jared Bundy tracked him down and said, you know what, man, you got it. You let me go earlier. And he let him go down the back there as well. Could have made a potentially another move, but he said, you got by fair and square. You let me by earlier. I'll let you back by as well. So sticking with the 3 for a moment here, but if Jared Bundy can't pull away right here, the 5 may potentially end up trying to make another pass as he actually tandems him there down the front. The 5 is still on his tail. This is weird. Jared Bundy again marched him down, got by like it was nothing, but now all of a sudden GT Hawkins is sticking to him like glue here. You thought for sure once the 3 got into clean air he would pull away, but that's not the case just yet. Meanwhile, as these two battle, here you go. Guess who in 3rd and 4th? Jeff Marble and Austin Fitzgerald. These two continuing to show how good of a long run setup they've got and how good they are at tire saving. And boy, if there's a race that you want to go green, if you've got a long run setup, this is it. Because of course, this being the longest race of the season, you're going to have the most pit stops, you're going to have the most strategy play, and then of course the most tire saving if you are able to keep, or if we're able to keep it green, I should say. And so there's Jeff Marble as he is now on the high side, looking like he's trying to play a little bit of defense here on Austin Fitzgerald. Ooh, that was really close there coming out of 4. They almost bumped doors. As we go back up front, these two still, it almost looks like they're working together to a degree, and I wonder if GT Hawkins is trying to help the 3 out here so that they can both stay away from those 2 behind who seem like they're going to be coming here probably in next 5 laps. They'll be in this mix, I got to think, eventually. Fitzgerald, he's been tracking him down. It looks like he is going to be able to get clear here of Jeff Marble. And so now you start to wonder, when are we going to see the next pit stop? I think it's going to be, no, I don't think we're going to see it anytime before lap 100, but the question would of course be how long after lap 100 until we see it. And I think the window would be maybe somewhere between lap, again, it's still pretty broad right now, but maybe 105 and 120. Once we see the first stop, maybe get a little bit of a better idea on the second one. But as it stands right now, your top 5. How about it? 2 maybe underdog picks up front with Bundy and GT Hawkins. 2 of the long run setup guys, and then Tyler Marble, who has speed at, I think, every kind of track we go to. Super Speedway. He's good at road courses, 1.5 miles, everything in between. Alan Pajari as well. He's still looking for his first win this season. Got the job done at Auto Club last season, but has been winless since. Actually had a run-in, I believe, was it last week, with his teammate Austin Fitzgerald, as there was just, I'm trying to remember, I think it was, in fact here, I'm going to double check here, I think it was last week that these two had a little bit of a run-in down to one of the corners that caused both of them some trouble. Pajari, I think, was the one that actually didn't, I wouldn't say caused the trouble, but the point is, 2 teammates getting together, it was a little friendly fire, and not the way they probably wanted things to go, but yeah, sure enough, that was indeed at North Wilkesboro last week. And so looking for a bit of a rebound this week, as watching that gap up front still, may not be on the battle, but the scoring tower is not, doesn't lie, and right now it is showing that that gap is closing between Austin Fitzgerald and Jared Bundy. Now GT Hawkins has faded just a little bit off the back bumper of Jared Bundy. The good news for these guys, I think the good news for these two is that it's this late in the run before they're finally getting caught by the guys that have really good long run sets. So, and the reason I think that's important is because, you know, with the pit window, if we expect the pit window, and again, we're not 100% sure on this yet, but if that pit window opens in, say, 10 to 15 laps from now, maybe 15 to 20 even, and they're able to stay within a second either ahead or even a second behind Fitzgerald, Jeff Marble, I think they still have a good chance and still keep themselves in contention by the end of this race. Because again, it's going to take probably another 40 to 50 laps for Fitzgerald and Marble to start to reel them back in again with those long run setups versus these setups here, which seem to have been really good through the short, especially the medium, and still decent here as we start to slowly work into the longer portion of this run. And remember, at the start of the run, a lot of different lines, but for your front runners now, the lines, they don't look all that different. Everybody running kind of the same, but further back, there's still racing going on as Andrew Russo in a battle here with Ryan Haynes in the 39. The 88's going to lose that spot as Andrew Russo will fall back to 18th. Bill Benedict in 19th, Thomas O'Hara in 20th. And they are approaching the halfway point in this race. Again, got things started at about 9:05. Only one caution up to this point, and it was for an incident involving Brett Spod, who spun coming out of the pits. We'll recap you to that here just real quick and show you the only caution that we've had here tonight. The 35 was trying to get back up to speed. Car had some trouble, snapped around on him, and then went all the way around. Huge hit that he took into the outside wall, ended his night. And then the other night that we saw ended was Anthony Hanley. That was due to an incident between him and Jeff Shutt earlier in the race that did not bring out the caution. As now we're getting reports. Johnny McCulchuk looks like he took a bit of a detour. Oh, now he's going to get into the outside wall. Hold on to it, Johnny. That was pretty significant contact. You always get worried that breaks the breaks something in the suspension, either a toe link. But it looks like was able to get back rolling. We'll see if he goes in to fix it. Steering wheel still looks straight. The good news there for Johnny, but bad news is, of course, damage that he's going to have a sustain from that wreck. It looks like his driver cam here is actually frozen up for us. But that was a really, really big moment right there for Johnny McCulchuk. Good job, though, keeping it together and not getting anybody else involved. As back up front, Jared Bundy. The gap between him and GT Hawkins almost a second, and that means that Austin Fitzgerald is getting ready to set up for a pass here on the 5 of Hawkins. We'll see how hard GT battles him right here. I don't think he's going to be too aggressive here to the 74. Again, Fitzgerald's tracked him down from a pretty long ways back, so the 74 is better as it stands right now. Fitzgerald, though, looking for that cleaner air as you see him jump to the high side there into turn number 3. He's going to stay there. Watching to see here if he's going to try to pass him on the outside or the inside here. I'm thinking he's going to commit to the outside for this pass. GT Hawkins, though, maybe we see a move here to the inside. Watch for Fitzgerald down the back. He's got to run. 74 is looking for the quarter panel. Can he get the side draft? Yes, he does. Into turn number 3. Austin Fitzgerald will dive it in and clear up as that moves the 74 now up to that second position. 1 second between him and the leader, Jared Bundy. Question now is, can he get to the 3 car before we get to this first round of pit stops? Jared Bundy running special USA colored car here tonight as well, as he's got stars and stripes on the hood. I guess I should just say the stars on the hood. The stripes, I believe, on the side here. Yep, sure enough, good looking scheme for Jared Bundy as you see the onboard there. He has been doing a terrific job, though, here tonight. Again, good qualifying effort, but he's known for that. I think this is the first performance, though, that we have seen out of Jared Bundy, and at this point, and again, we don't wish this at all here. We're hoping that this continues in the 3, maybe finds his first victory of the season here tonight, but even at this point, if Jared Bundy loses the lead or the speed falls off, what a night it was. I mean, the amount of laps that he's led already, how good the car was, and how well he's been able to execute. There's certainly nothing that the 3 is not proud of. And by the way, I said first win of the season. I meant to say the second win of the season, as you got to look back to Texas, where during the Texas 200, he got the win on tire strategy. But tonight would certainly be more of a maybe fulfilling win in the sense of he's had a dominant performance here through the first half. Question is, can he hang on to that dominant performance through the second half? All right, so Jared Bundy continues to lead. Austin Fitzgerald second. GT Hawkins back to third. Jeff Marble in fourth. And Marble doesn't look like his necessarily tracking down GT Hawkins just yet. The gap is about stayed the same between those two. How about Kyle Oakley rounding out the top 5? What a run he's on here tonight. And you just never know. I mean, we go to so many of these tracks. You could look at any of the mile and a halves we go to, and Kyle Oakley, he's been good, but not as good as he's been here tonight. And so you just wonder, what is the difference? Not sure, but that car certainly looks like it's getting tight, and I think as a driver, it's probably better to be a little bit tight than it is to be super loose towards the end of a run. But Oakley right now, again, in position with where he'd like to be as we near closer and closer to this first round of green flag pit stops. There's the view from out front for Jared Bundy, and there's the view out back. Austin Fitzgerald still relatively small in his rearview mirror as the lights continue to get brighter here at Charlotte. Looking again at that track temp, still hanging around 91. Surprised that it hasn't cooled off more so far. Humidity at 52%. And if you're just tuning in, again, we appreciate you being here. You are watching the Capital Auto Charlotte 300 for the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series on Ghost Racing Network. Who do you got as your winner here at the halfway point? Let me know in the chat. Right now, it's a tough call, but I'm going to go with Jared Bundy on this one. I think at least I'm going to go with Jared Bundy if this thing stays green, because he's just been set up so good so far the whole race. The car's been good on the short run, been great in the medium run, and it's been good on the long run so far as well. I think Fitzgerald is close, but if it stays green, as long as Bundy's able to execute, I think he's going to be a tough pass here tonight. You go back here as we got a battle between Quentin Clark and Tracy Powers. Powers running the momentum, the high side on top of the racetrack, gets the momentum down the front stretch and the back stretch. But then Quentin Clark taking the shorter way around, trying to get clear in the corners. Danny Gutierrez behind this battle, and this almost looks like if we were at Daytona or Talladega, this group right here. Throw them all under a blanket as it looks like finally they're going to start to get it sorted out here a little bit. Danny Gutierrez jumping to the bottom. He's looking for a bit of a slide job. Look at that golden blue 08 machine. Can he get clear up? Oh, it's close. Yes, he does. Tracy Powers with a big wiggle as he had to turn the wheel big time as he got tight when the 08 slid up. And I'm not sure if Tracy Powers was too happy with that, but Danny Gutierrez said, I got to go, and he slammed the door. And so Gutierrez will now try to pull up to the back bumper of Quentin Clark to see what he can do on him. The 07 of Thomas O'Hara. Looking to the inside of Brian Conklin. Conklin again with, I don't know, I think Brian may have brought my favorite scheme to the track here tonight. That is such a good looking car. And that is one of the Team Marvel iRacing veterans. Brian Conklin, remember how deep he went into the playoffs last season? Could potentially be a threat again this season. Andrew Russo, potentially some troubles, but we're not concerned about that as it looks like he was able to get it sorted out. And pit stops underway, but by the way, I guess I should say, not that we're not worried about it, but looking real quick, whatever the trouble was for Russo, he got it sorted back out as, yes, pit stops are underway here at Charlotte, and it looks like Jeff Shutt, Tyler Marble, and the rookie GT Hawkins, all the first ones in here with 110 laps complete. Multiple others now as Oakley is going to lead a group of 3 more, Quentin Clark and Wes Hurd Jr. And once the trend starts, it's hard to get it to stop as Jared Bundy makes his way into his box as well. Almost overshot it, but he's able to get in clean. And Austin Fitzgerald choosing to stay out longer than Jared Bundy here. I don't know about that strategy. This is certainly going to get interesting. Usually, if you're not the leader, you want to undercut the leader. Or excuse me, if you're in second, you want to undercut the leader to get the clean air. But maybe Fitzgerald felt like if he stayed out a little bit longer, he can be on offense a little bit longer. So he has made his way to the pits now, but did stay out a little bit longer. So we'll see how that affects the 74 car as he makes his way into his box. There's Jeff Marble. Jared Bundy, by the way, is in 18th. So as we pull up the track map, look for the 18th place dot on your screen. In fact, see if we can maybe circle it here in just a moment as we go to the pit lane view. And there's Jared Bundy. And you see him just racing across the tri oval. This is going to be close here on whether or not Jared Bundy's able to get out in front of these two. Fitzgerald had a really nice pit stop. He got in and out really clean here. Jared Bundy, though, looks like the fresher tires, even if it's only a lap, are enough to get him by Austin Fitzgerald. And Fitzgerald, a little bit, not bad news, but I'd say the hindrance here for Fitzgerald is that 3 car just got clear of all this traffic. Meanwhile, Austin Fitzgerald, he did not, and those are not all lappers. Some of those are for position. So it's going to take that 74 a little bit here to pass all of these guys again. Meanwhile, the 3's got clean air, and he can try to just put down qualifying laps again. As Brian Conklin makes his way out of the pits, so will Jacob Musso. Another good-looking paint scheme. He's got fast eddies. And that is one of the Musso Speed Shop drivers. Again, no teammates so far this season for Jacob, so he's doing all he can by himself, but he's had a couple of great performances, a couple of podiums, and looking still for that first win. But again, another driver who has came really, really close. And it seems like, as a driver, once you can get that first one, it does get easier from there, and I think Jared Bundy's a prime example of that. Look back to last season, went winless, even with the speed he was showing at some of the tracks, and then this season finally gets a break, gets a win off a little bit of strategy, and now all of a sudden the speed starts showing up week in and week out since, and here he is tonight. So far with another very dominant looking race car, and he's closing in on what's going to be 80 laps to go as we are well over the halfway portion, over 150 miles complete in this race. All right, well, we are going to take another quick break, but we are going to go side by side again so you don't miss a thing. Pit cycles continue, and when they finish up, should be Jared Bundy leading at Charlotte.
Capital Subaru, we value your time. Whether you're here for service or working with our amazing sales team, everything is right here for your convenience. We offer a great selection of Subarus, an industry-leading service center that keeps you moving, and so much more. Like our living green wall, just one of the many features throughout our dealership. Looking for the perfect pet gift? Check out Happy Paws Pet Shop right here in our lobby. Or plan your next adventure in our fireside seating and find your happy place. It's always your time at Capital Subaru, your way on the Parkway. Capital Subaru, we value your time, whether you're here for service or working with our amazing sales team. Everything is right here for your convenience. We offer a great selection of Subarus, an industry-leading service center that keeps you moving, and so much more. Like our living green wall, just one of the many features throughout our dealership. Looking for the perfect pet gift? Check out Happy Paws Pet Shop right here in our lobby. Or plan your next adventure in our fireside seating and find your happy place. It's always your time at Capital Subaru, your way on the Parkway.
Welcome back to Charlotte Motor Speedway. Kenneth Bartholomew, the last car that did not pit, finally goes in for his stop, so he will hand the lead over to not Jared Bundy, but actually GT Hawkins. Forgot for a minute that the 5 did pit the earliest of them all, and as a result, it puts him out front. So good strategy call, at least initially for the 5. The problem is on the flip end of this run, the 3 is going to be on offense, have much better tires, and I just don't know how well that 5 car is going to be able to fend him off. Now, at any point from here on out, if we get a caution, it's shaking things up. I mean, you look at the strategy so far in terms of tires and what these guys have taken. We had that one caution where just about everybody went in. Of course, took your first set of 4 tires. Remember, you have 4 in the pits tonight instead of the usual 3 sitting in the pits. So with that, that was the first set, and then everybody that just went in taking their second set. And so that leaves 2 sets still in the pits. Now, we are expecting one more pit stop under green here, and then of course even if we had a caution you'd be expecting one more pit stop. But I think to be safe, that window doesn't open until we get to probably about lap 150, maybe a handful or so before that if you really want to go as soon as possible, but I think that's pushing it. And so the point being, you'll take again your 3rd set right here, and that'll leave 1 set for if we get a late caution for everybody. And if it stays green, then that set will be left alone. And again, the racing tonight has been phenomenal. I mean, it's been good all over the track. It's been clean. We've only seen that one caution as we now approach just a few laps. What's going to be 70 to go here at Charlotte. Good to see everybody in the chat tonight. Forgot to mention a couple of them earlier, but Cody Martin, glad you're in here, says, happy Memorial Day, racers. Good luck all. Keep up that momentum. Let's go, Russo. And then Joe Williamson says, Danny Gutierrez is going to win it. Andrew Russo back in the 14th position after fading a little bit there. Oh, he's got some damage. What in the world happened to the 88 here to get that damage? In fact, we might be able to do a little bit of searching here as we try to go back the manual way here. Not sure how far back it was that he got this damage, but let's see if we can figure it out here real quick. As that's significant enough to affect the arrow, and looks like it's going to be this lap right here. Let's see, is it in turn 1 and 2 or 3 and 4? All right, so he's going through 1 and 2. Everything looks good. Comes off of 1 and 2. Car looks fine. Okay, so it's going to be something that happens over here in 3 and 4. And he gets down into the corner. Car looks good. Watch, does he get... Oh! Ouch. That's a big hit for the 88 to the rear of the 27. I think that was Jeff Shutt. Or was that Johnny McCulchuk? Could not exactly tell, but that was Jeff Shutt here. It's almost like he just never saw him. Yeah, that was Jeff Shutt. I'm sure Jeff Shutt's not too happy with that one, and I don't think you can blame him here, and I'll tell you why. Let's go to the cockpit view. Watch Jeff Shutt in the 27. He's slow, Well, I take that back. That's tough right there, and I'll tell you why that's tough, because the 27, it's okay to still be on the racetrack when you're slow enough for the pitch. You have to be. That's the way you make a fast pit stop. I think the problem here is right there. It looks like Jeff Shutt's going up. Yeah, he does. So Jeff Shutt starts to go up the racetrack a little bit. Now, Russo sees him slow here, but he sees him start to go up the racetrack, and he assumes, okay, well, he's going to go high. And so Russo commits low. Jeff Shutt is going to the pit. So just as Jeff Shutt starts to turn down, Russo realizes, but it's just too late at that point. Nothing you can do, frozen like a deer in the headlights. And again, that's just that unspoken miscommunication between a couple of drivers, and a big hit for Russo. That's what did all the damage for him, and he was not able to get it repaired, at least not yet, it hasn't looked like. As you wonder how that worked out for Jeff Shutt and the damage he sustained from that. So as we go back live, it is now 69 laps to go. Going to be 68 when we cross the stripe this time. And GT Hawkins still leads, but Jared Bundy is closing the gap. And then it's Austin Fitzgerald in third. The gap between Bundy and Fitzgerald as it stands right now is about 2.3 seconds. As there's Johnny McCulchuck separating these two, or those two. And as we look at the track map, by the way, look how spread out everybody is. This is a product of a long green flag run with pit stops involved. And when you get that, it starts to, the track map at least, starts to look more like we're at Bristol or Martinsville. And as a leader, you're working around lap traffic quite a bit. You got to keep your head down and make sure you keep making the right moves. Don't get yourself into trouble. As, by the way, we look for Jeff Marble. He sits back in the 4th spot, still up 22 from where he started. Michael Mueller now rounding out the top 5. Sean Kaltenbach back in 6th. Jeffrey Souza has made his way back up to 7th. Kyle Oakley in 8th. Tyler Marble 9th. And Ryan Haynes currently rounds out your top 10. By the way, he's up 21 positions from where he started this race at. A couple guys that maybe we haven't got to here today that we want to make sure we acknowledge is Todd Shiro and the number 6 Build Submarines. Not been the best night for him so far. He's down 7 positions from where he started, currently sitting as the last car on the racetrack in 35th. Christopher Hall in the 38 just in front of him. He sits in 34th. Driver out of Dillsburg, Pennsylvania. And then Kenneth Bartholomew, who we saw maybe trying a little bit of strategy, but unfortunately, ultimately, I don't think it's going to quite work out here for the 73. Another rookie, though, that, man, he came out of the gates firing with, of course, the qualifying on the pole for Daytona. Job he did in the duels. But since then, the speed just really hasn't been there for the 73. Johnny McCulchuck, 32nd. Mark Zabak, the Canadian driver, right now, he's got a good-looking scheme on tonight as well. He sits in the 31st position with the Michelob red, white, and blue on. Ryan Shiro, talked about him a couple times here tonight. But how about Rachel Hunt? She had great speed last week at North Wilkesboro. She didn't get the win, but remember, she did advance to the All-Star race from the All-Star Open by placing in the top 6. And I believe she actually got 2nd or 3rd. I think it was 3rd. And so a good run for her there was what got her into the All-Star race, where she had a decent run as well. And she's had good runs so far since she joined, again, about the middle portions of the season. So don't sleep on Rachel Hunt here. She may be due for her first win here in a couple weeks. Charlotte, though, not seeming like it's been too friendly so far for her tonight, as, again, she sits in that 30th. Welcome back to Charlotte Motor Speedway. Apologies there for the brief delay. Again, did have the internet drop down for a moment, and I promise I've been trying everything. There's just nothing I can do about it. When I'm at the school for the year, we've got better internet there, but appreciate everybody working with me through it. Nonetheless, as we do go back live, ooh, watch out, 97. Raz a little bit slow there as the 9 as Zabak had a big run. It looked to the outside. Jared Bundy, by the way, caught in the middle of this lap traffic. He's trying to figure out a way around because all this battling. Oh, hold on just a minute. Oh, my goodness. all this battling has allowed GT Hawkins to get back to side by side. And oh, now Mraz slides up in front of Hawkins. Well, that'll get the 97 cleared out of the way and allow the 3 to try to pull away here. But that also allowed Austin Fitzgerald to close up that gap substantially. So I'm sure Jared Bundy was on the radio saying, can you guys get out of the way? Nonetheless, we're closing in on the final quarter of this race. Once we hit that 150 lap mark, that's where as a driver you start to zone in more, a little bit more. Every lap starts to become a little bit more crucial as, again, sun continues to go down here just about, or sunset just about complete here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, it looks like, as track temp still sitting at 91, so it has not cooled down. Definitely not the way we expected it to go. Now, I should say on the contrary to that, we look at air temp and it has not cooled down really much either, it looks like. So maybe weather was fixed here tonight and it was just time change. And if that was the case, of course, wind looks to be a little bit variable and changing. But Jared Bundy, I mean, this is all he could ask for right now with the way this race continues to go. And I think the only other thing right now that this 3 is, you know, maybe kind of waiting on, worried about, however you want to put it, is how is the 74 going to kind of set up here for what's going to be, of course, that final green flag pit stop. And even before that, because again, Fitzgerald right now is just under a second and a half back. And then GT Hawkins, who has fallen to half a second back, I don't look to see him gain anymore as the 3 is on newer tires than the 5 is. Oh, we got one up the racetrack. Who was that? Somebody was able to save it there, I think. Couldn't tell if that was either, it might have been either Jeff Shutt or Johnny McCulchuk. Nonetheless, as you go back to the field here, everything's still looking spread out. Nobody looking like they've had any major issues, so no real reason that we should expect a caution anytime in the near future. And I think Jared Bundy right now is hoping that this thing stays clean and green the rest of the way through, because as it stands, that looks like it would be his best shot at winning it. Now, I think if you're GT Hawkins at this point, I think you've got to go for the undercut strategy here. Pit as soon as that window opens, which should be open now, so might be waiting a little bit longer, but pit as soon as you can here and get back out as far as you can in front of the 3. Who knows, maybe you get a break with some lap traffic that you get clear of easy. The 3 doesn't. But at this point, I think if you're GT Hawkins, it's going to be easier to try to play defense than it is offense. Falling back, but Jared Bundy slipped up a bit right there, and the 5 is going to close it back down. As you see, Austin Fitzgerald still trying to track them both down, and that was Jeff Shutt, by the way, a couple laps ago, who we saw get tight, because that is the Capital Auto Chevy Camaro that was running just behind 74, but now will get in front. So 151 laps complete, and that does indeed mean that we are in the final quarter of this race. Gives us a chance to go look at, well, I know we talked about the Capital Auto, or excuse me, the Noble 5 Challenge earlier, which of course sponsored by Capital Auto Group, but let's see what the regular points and the upcoming schedule are looking like here. Right now, leading in points coming into this race was Jeff Marble, followed by Austin Fitzgerald, Ty Iopolito. Rounding out the top 3 in points, Tyler Marble 4th, Quentin Clark 5th, Kyle Oakley in 6th, Jared Bundy 7th, Jake Hickson in 8th, Michael Mueller in 9th, and Kenneth Bartholomew, who I said it's been a little bit of a rough season in general, but the consistency's been there. When I say rough, I mean because I feel like he was maybe looking to capture that first win, similar to what he saw for a lot of the other rookies. Hasn't happened, but the consistency's been there, and it's got him into the top 10 for points. Now, again, I know we're still a little bit of a ways away, but once we make it to the playoffs, it starts with the round of 16, so there are still 6 more drivers below the top 10 that are currently in the cut line. Is notice on the right side of your screen there, Jared Bundy making his final pit stop right here, and it's going to start the cycle as Fitzgerald and Hawkins both bring it down. So this is going to put all of your top 3 on the same exact strategy, and it will be all a battle of who's got the faster setup and can manage the tires the best for the last 46 laps. Looking back though at the side, the left rather, upcoming schedule, Gateway, the next track up, 120 laps there before we head to our next road course on the season, and that will be Sonoma for 55 laps there. Iowa follows that up, followed by New Hampshire, and then Nashville, Chicagoland, Pocono, and then the Brickyard towards the end of July, and then 2 bye weeks there at the end of July into August. And that, of course, is for the Olympics. All right, so we go back live now Pit cycle's complete. Working their way back onto the track now is GT Hawkins, Austin Fitzgerald, and Jared Bundy. They came out the same, well, almost the same way they went in. Hawkins and Fitzgerald have swapped positions, and you can kind of see a fair idea of what the gap looks like between these three now. As again, we expect that this will be the battle for the lead. There's Austin Fitzgerald. We'll go up just a little bit further for you here and show you the separation. There's GT Hawkins, and there is Jared Bundy. Bundy is going to need to hold on for 45 more laps here, and Austin Fitzgerald, GT Hawkins, going to try to track him down. Ryan Shiro is going to go to the point in the 20 machine. Jacob Musso battling for that spot. Scott Glasso currently sits third, but again, these are all guys that still need to make their pit stop. As you see, Brandon Saylor going to work his way into his box, and he'll make his last stop of the night. And when I say last stop, I should say last scheduled stop. Of course, if we get a caution, that changes things up, and I definitely think maybe you see some guys try some tire strategy. But for now, it seems like everybody content to run the same strategy overall. Kind of locally back to 18th here. I wonder if this is still pit cycling through, or if he had an issue. Jacob Musso, Scott Glasso there in the pits now. Glasso will slide in, followed by Musso. And so that just now leaves Ryan Shiro, Tracy Powers, and Mark Sabak as the only three drivers on track that are yet to make their final pit stop. And then there's Jared Bundy, followed by GT Hawkins, Austin Fitzgerald just behind them. And I'll tell you what, I really like this call, especially by GT Hawkins, but even by Austin Fitzgerald. And I'll tell you why, because with the way things are going, GT Hawkins found out that the undercut strategy just wasn't going to work. It may have helped him a little bit, but it wasn't going to work in terms of winning this race. Fitzgerald tried the opposite, tried going a little bit longer. Again, didn't quite work out the way they would have liked it to. So they both said, okay, we're close enough within a second and a half and within a second. So let's just put it at the same time and see if maybe we can just outrun this three car naturally. And that's exactly what we are starting to see here as GT Hawkins is getting ready to apply some pressure here. Jared Bundy might have to start to think about doing a little blocking here. That's exactly what he'll try to do down the front stretch. Does GT Hawkins look a lane lower? Thought about it. Not going to get there, though, into turn number one. And Jared Bundy, the heart rate's going up right now because this is the first time in a little while here tonight that he's really had to start battling. And the more they battle, too, don't forget, the quicker that'll pull Austin Fitzgerald into the mix. Fitzgerald right now, at least in regard to these two, about 2 seconds back. So he's definitely got some work to do. But it's not over until it's over. And again, anything can happen with your two leaders right here. As Tracy Powers has yet to pit, only car to not yet, maybe hoping for a late caution or something to help that strategy pan out. Now I'm looking here, and oh, one in the wall there. That was Andrew Mraz. And there we go. There's the move. The 5's going to duck to the inside here of Jared Bundy. Jared Bundy, does he look for a side draft here? Does he let him go? He's not going to let him go as easily this time, but he's not going to pinch him either. Now remember earlier that the 3 let the 5 go and then was able to track him down later as a result. Do you risk doing that, or if you're Jared Bundy, do you feel like at this point in the race the clean air is just too important to give up again? Looks like he feels like it is too important to give up, and I don't blame him. 40 laps to go. Jared Bundy looking for his second win on the season, and he's going to do everything he can to try to fight off the rookie GT Hawkins, who's looking for his first win in only his 3rd race here tonight. Boy, what a story that would be, as now he's going to look to the outside. Oh no, Jared Bundy gave up the preferred lane. GT Hawkins is able to get a side draft. The 3's trying to slide up. He's not going to be able to do it. Hawkins gets loose though. Drag race down the back into turn number 3. Jared Bundy trying to fight back on the inside. GT Hawkins with the preferred lane on the outside. All night we talked about it was a race of endurance, and now it's a race of speed. Who's got the most? GT Hawkins all but cleared down the front stretch. Still no dice though. Jared Bundy back to the bottom. He's trying everything to get clear. It's not happening. The longer he stays down there, the better that 5 chances are of getting clear, and now he'll do it. GT Hawkins, new leader with just 38 laps to go at Charlotte. I said new leader. Of course, we can't count out Tracy Powers, but again, he does still have to pit. Well, actually, he may have already pit. Maybe I should say, I'm not sure if he's already pit or not. The point is, he's on a completely different strategy than these guys, so he will be getting past here in just about a lap or two. Actually, it's going to get past this time as there they go. And they are going to shoot right on by. It looks like Todd Shore here, with a little bit of an issue down the front stretch here for the 6. What happened here? Comes off a 4, just gets loose and takes a detour there through the artificial turf. But again, no harm, no foul. He saves it. As you see the right front on that car, a little scraped up. Not sure if that was from some damage earlier with another car or potentially the wall. Back up front, Jared Bundy still in that second spot. Back to the outside. He's got another great run here on Hawkins. Will he take a look with it? He will not. Staying conservative. He doesn't want the inside, and that's a very good move right there by Jared Bundy. You know, you never know when the last opportunity is going to be to pass the guy, but I agree with that right there. He felt like the bottom wasn't the lane to get if you're going to make a pass. Felt like he didn't have enough momentum to make it work, so decided to just try to put some pressure, maybe see if he could get the rookie to slip up. GT Hawkins wrapping that double white line right now on the bottom. Austin Fitzgerald, by the way, looking at the gap between him and the leader, still just over 2.5 seconds. Now, to be fair, Fitzgerald could be saving a little bit right here and wait until we get to maybe, I don't know, 25 to go or something, and then start to push the pace. Maybe even 20 to go, but right now, Fitzgerald, again, has not been closing it up much as, ooh, Jared Bundy maybe getting a little bit physical right here with Hawkins. The third car in the mix is not for position. That is Jacob Musso. Still single file here down the back, but Jared Bundy. And this is interesting because this is what we saw earlier with GT Hawkins. Actually, I should just say these two. When Jared Bundy tracked down GT Hawkins, got by, but then Hawkins stuck with him for quite a while. And now it's almost the same thing where Hawkins tracked down Bundy, got by, but now Bundy's sticking with him here. And so two cars clearly that brought very fast setups for every portion of the run here tonight. It's just a matter of which one of them can get the win, and it would mean so much to both drivers. GT Hawkins, though, I'm not sure if he's able to make the playoffs still with the amount of races left, but if he is, boy, a win would mean so much to him. It would help him a ton in terms of the points and having a chance to make the playoffs, where Jared Bundy, he would like that second win for a huge boost of confidence. And I want to see how the rest of the field's running, but I don't want to leave this battle just yet because any move here could potentially be that final move. But now it looks like Jared Bundy, while it is faint, might be slowly starting to fade here. Falling off the back bumper. And I'd like to see him maybe search around here a little bit. Try to find something either on the top of the racetrack, but hey, he's been good all night. He knows something we don't here. He might be, again, saving a little bit, similar to what he did earlier, and then he'll try to get back around the 5 as we get closer to the finish. 30 laps to go, and ooh, that was another big moment right there. 45 miles left here at Charlotte, and that's all Jared Bundy needed to get back to the inside. He's got to send it into 3 right here. Oh, he's trying the 5s, looking to put it on his door here, though. Jared Bundy, he's going to get back clear. He's got to slide up. Yes, he does. Jared Bundy is going to retake the lead with 30 laps to go at Charlotte. And GT Hawkins now, he's got to regroup. That could have been his best opportunity, but he can't let it get to his head now. You got to try to regroup, get back to it. You got to look ahead here. And what I see ahead is a big group of lappers, and they are 3 wide here. So, oh my goodness. Oh, that's going to be a wreck. Oh, we're going to get a caution. Oh, no, this is trouble for the leaders. They're trying to miss it. Oh, Jared Bundy gets contact from it, and GT Hawkins is involved. Caution is out as Bundy is going to go for a spin. And that's how the race goes. You can see the frustration, and you can't blame him. You get worried about it. And when it happens from lappers racing that way, it is frustrating. And Jared Bundy and GT Hawkins, they've got all the right in the world right now to be mad. Two dominant cars all night, but Jared Bundy potentially with the most dominant car all night. And now you can see it there on the front end. That's pretty heavy damage. That's going to take this car out of race-winning pace. And just, you know, we're going to go back and look at it here before we say anything. But let's see what it was here that caused the big incident that took out your 2 leaders who spent all night doing everything they could to capture big wins for both of them here. Let's see here. Jacob Musso in the middle. This is what I'm saying, 3 wide, and just looks like Pajari getting a little bit loose right there and gets down the track and into the 31 of Gearinger. And then the wreck's on from there. And I hate to say it because I know everybody's got a right to race for positions, so I'm not going to try to judge these guys too hard. Again, it's an accident. It happens, but it's one of those things where it's just so frustrating as a driver. It's on the lead lap there looking to close it out with a good race to the finish, and you've got guys kind of, to a degree, I don't want to call it stupid, but being a little silly here, going 3 wide this late in a run when you've got a mix of lappers versus guys for position. I mean, it's basically just a clustered mess here, and you kind of wondered if something was going to happen with it as soon as you looked out the windshield, and sure enough it did. But again, nothing that anybody necessarily did wrong in this group, so not trying to take it out on anybody specifically. Just when you get racing this aggressive, that's when things can happen. And Pajari in the middle of it, a lot of turbulent air, and just back end starts to go around, and once it starts to go, there's just no catching it. Now, when he started to go, did he get some contact here? Starts to slide. I don't know. The contact from the bottom. So Pajari had already lost it enough to get down to the bottom, and then Musso is trying to go high to miss it. That's what gets him into Russo, and then wrecks on from here. And then Jacob Musso takes a pretty hard shot into the outside wall. And then there's Russo on the bottom. Pajari, as he slides back down, that leaves Jared Bundy with nowhere to go. Hawkins is trying to find a way through it, and he's going to get collected as well. And just very, very unfortunate for your 2 leaders here tonight, as there's the pit lane 2 view. Everybody else sneaks by, as that's going to bring a night to a couple of days. Andrew Russo. Looks like that car is destroyed, as everybody else here has to miss him. Give you 1 or 2 more angles of this here. First one, I want to go back to the onboard view here for Jared Bundy. And, you know, you can't, these cars, they're heavy cars. I mean, we're in a stock car. You can't just stop as a driver here. And, you know, this wreck wasn't a wreck that just, I mean, this wreck developed for a little while here. You couldn't tell if it was going to be a wreck. But Jared Bundy was trying to figure out a way through it here, was hoping it could go low. It looked like maybe they were done wrecking, but then as they started wrecking again, just nothing he could do at that point. All right, so as we go back up front, 2 fastest cars of the night, GT Hawkins and Jared Bundy's nights have come to a pretty abrupt end here. I mean, I'm not going to say it's officially over, obviously. They got back out on track. Looks like damage is repaired, but they're back in 18th and 19th, and just don't know if there's enough time to get back through the field. And even with that damage repaired, the car is still not as fast as it is without taking any damage. So 174, going to be 175 as they cross the stripe. Laps complete. And it is Austin Fitzgerald being scored as your leader. Jeff Marble in 2nd. Sean Kaltenbach in 3rd with Jeffrey Souza in 4th. Quentin Clark in 5th. Tyler Marble 6th. Kyle Oakley in 7th. Michael Mueller in 8th. Ty Iopolito in 9th. And Ryan Haynes currently rounding out your top 10. Looks like Aaron Vittorio, I hope I said that right in the chat, says, let's go, Jeff Shutt. As Jeff Shutt trying to get back in it after. It's been a rough day for Jeff Shutt. A lot of incidents that he's been involved in, not of his own causing, of course. But the 27, you're right, he is back in it in 13th, potentially with a shot here. And then Cody Martin says, ouch, hate to see it go down that way. And you got that right. I'm sure if we had a hot mic on the 3 and the 5, there'd be some not so friendly words in there. But nonetheless, out of all the green racing we had tonight, you still wondered, would it come down to a short run at the end? And it looks like the answer is yes. Going to be a 25-lap sprint to decide it. And I guess 25 laps, all in all, isn't necessarily a sprint, but compared to the length of the entire race tonight, it's a pretty short distance to go. Jeff Marble, though, what can he make happen here? Jeffrey Souza. What about Sean Kaltenbach? Could he find his way to victory lane in his first race back this season? Getting ready to find out. Here we go. Pace car makes a left turn. Back into the restart zone we go. Green flag is back in the air, Charlotte.
Green flag.
Good restart, 2x2. Jeff Marble, though, fires off just a little bit slower than Austin Fitzgerald, who's able to get clear before they get down into turn number 1. 2 by 2 they go through turn 1 and 2 onto the backstretch now. Side by side. Single filing out back, but up front the race for second is on as Austin Fitzgerald is going to be looking to pull away right here. Sean Kaltenbach to the inside. Does he get clear of Jeff Marble? Yes, he does. The 15 with a run back, though. Will he get a crossover? He's not going to be able to do it. Quentin Clark's pulling himself up into the mix. Remember, he got the win at Kansas, so he knows how to get around these 1.5 miles. Tyler Marble, he's up here now as well. 3 wide, further back. Hard racing off of 2 is, the 17 of Oakley, and Jeffrey Souza may have potentially bumped doors right there. Oakley's going to lose a position there to the 99 of Michael Mueller, who drops in just behind Tyler Marble. And up front, now we are getting ready to see a battle for the lead as Sean Kaltenbach has found some speed here to track down the 74. And you can see that Kaltenbach's trying to get to the inside of the corner just a little bit sooner. And to be honest, it almost looks like Fitzgerald's car is not quite able to get all the way down to the bottom the way he would like it to. Watch this here from a couple of the onboard views from Fitzgerald's car, and watch from the cockpit view here. Trying to get the car all the way down to the racetrack. 3 and 4 looks okay. Though I think he would like to get a little bit lower. Oh, he slips up right there. Does that give Kaltenbach a run? It will not. Kaltenbach stays tucked in line. 22 laps to go now. Trying to duck that nose just a little bit lower. Fitzgerald cuts him off in the middle of the corner. So single file now through about your first 6 or 7. 2 by 2 though. Between Ty Iopolito, Jeff Shutt, and then Brian Conklin and Ryan Haynes. Ty Iopolito on the inside here. Jeff Shutt trying to make any positions he can, and you never know here. You got to get whatever you can on the restart because you never know if we're going to get another one or not. And as each lap goes by, it comes harder and harder to pass. As right now, though, kind of a standstill here in the middle pack for the inside and outside lane, as it doesn't look like either lane's really been able to draw the advantage just yet. And so as they stay 2 by 2, one out back. Fell off track there for just a moment. Couldn't tell exactly who that was. Was it Christopher Hall potentially, who had a big moment as he loses the pack? 20 laps to go as they cross the stripe that time. And so with just 20 to go, man, this is getting interesting here, because I think you're going to probably have 3 or 4 different cars in the mix here by the end of this thing. It's just a matter of who's it going to be. We've seen so many cars that have had a chance to win here tonight, but we saw 2 dominant ones get taken out, so now it's going to open the door even more. And with just 19 to go, as we have kind of the calm before the storm right here, about a little crank it up in Charlotte. Here we go. Trouble down on the back straightaway. That's Brian Conklin for Team Marble iRacing. Getting into the inside safer barrier there. Not sure what happened, but it looks like we're going to stay green here. Is he able to get sorted out? Ooh, man, Tracy Powers is trying to figure out a way by the damaged 37 machine here. As he kind of got boxed in. Conklin is going to clip the grass. Not sure exactly what that was there. It looked like he got tangled up with somebody, and they both went into the inside wall, but luckily they're able to keep it down there. And again, we stay green up front. Still kind of looking the same between the front two here. Real no separation and no closing either. Sean Kaltenbach, can't tell if he's just struggling to get any closer or if he's just kind of waiting to pounce right now for the 74, but they're starting to bring up a couple others into the mix now, as we expected. Here comes Jeff Marble and his teammate Tyler Marble. And those two, they might try to work together here a little bit. Now, there's not much you can do here. It's not like Daytona and Talladega. However, if you get linked up right down the straights, or even just potentially provide a little bit of an aero draft to your teammate down the straights, they could try to jump to the inside and potentially get around both of these guys. Souza side by side here with Quentin Clark as we cross the line to take 13 laps to go. And that is Sean Kaltenbach still just lurking in the footsteps right now. Austin Fitzgerald, what is going through his head right now? You know he is looking in the rearview mirror. It's so hard as a driver to do. You want to look out front, focus on your line, but when you've got somebody running this close each and every lap, it can get you nervous. But that was a great corner for Fitzgerald. It looked like he was actually able to create a little bit of breathing room. Puts us with just 12 laps to go now. And Fitzgerald, thought we saw some trouble out back here for just a moment. Doesn't look like that's the case. As, by the way, on the lead lap now, in fact, actually, I should say, we are down to 27 cars on the lead lap. Remember, we had 37 start. A couple of those drivers have retired, and then again, a couple of them just not on the lead lap anymore. We're going to go through your running order one more time before we keep it up front the rest of the way. Johnny McCulchuk in 27th. Danny Gutierrez 26th. Cody Matthews in 25th. Rachel Hunt 24th with Glenn Grigsby in 23rd. Ryan Shiro 22nd. Mark Zabak 21st. Brian Conklin in 20th with Tracy Powers in 19th. Jared Bundy in 18th. Matthew Gearinger in 17th. Kenneth Bartholomew, good bounce back for him as he's up to 16th. Bill Benedict in 15th. Brandon Saylor 14th. Thomas O'Hara in 13th as he is side by side with Ryan Haynes, who's in 12th. Jeff Shutt 11th. Ty Iopolito in 10th. GT Hawkins at 9th. Jeffrey Souza in 8th. Kyle Oakley 7th with Quentin Clark in 6th. Michael Mueller in 5th. Tyler Marble 4th. Sean Kaltenbach in 3rd. Jeff Marble in 2nd. And Austin Fitzgerald continues to lead here at Charlotte. Battle for the lead isn't the one we're watching. It's the battle for 3rd as Jeff Marble found a way around Sean Kaltenbach. And now Kaltenbach in a heated debate here with Tyler Marble, as it looks like he'll be able to hold him off for now. And well, I'll tell you what, we watched it all night, and a lot of races, we don't get a sample size this big, but we got one tonight with all the green flag laps we had. The two best cars, and again, I'm going to say this hands down, in my opinion, was Jared Bundy and GT Hawkins. The second best cars after those two was Austin Fitzgerald and Jeff Marble, again, in my opinion here. And guess what? Look at the front two now. It is Austin Fitzgerald and Jeff Marble. Just 9 laps to go here. If the gap stays as it is, I think Fitzgerald's hoping this thing stays green, but look at Jeff Marble. He's looking around here a little bit, trying to find if there's a lane that's maybe a little bit faster. Usually when you choose the top, a little bit cleaner air, then of course carry momentum down the straight, but oh, did Fitzgerald's doing a little bit of aero blocking here on Jeff. Trying to find anything he can do here to continue to extend his gap, and it's working as Jeff Marble looks like he's just getting a little bit loose. And so all of a sudden here, Fitzgerald has now extended the gap, what was just a couple tenths, to now just over, actually just under half a second. And remember though, we've got to make it all the way to the white flag for this race to be official. And so as it stands right now, that leaves us with 6 to go. 6 laps that anything can happen and potentially cause more chaos with another restart. Ty Iopolito side by side with Kyle Oakley. Boy, Oakley, he's been a fighter all night. I'll tell you what, the 17, he has had his head down and he's been grinding for it all night. And it's paying off here with what's looking like potentially a top 10 finish, although could maybe get a little more. Ooh, Brandon Taylor. You saw he got right alongside the door there. Brian Haynes got loose, had to get out of it to not make any contact. As Kyle Oakley still fighting hard on the outside, meanwhile back up front we go, and Austin Fitzgerald does have that gap now officially up and over half a second, actually over 6/10 of a second. Jeff Marble, all he can do now, I think, is just hopelessly try anything. He's trying every lane, trying to find one that works, but I just don't think he's going to have enough at this point unless Fitzgerald slips up big time or there's another caution. It's just 5 laps to go. Jeff Marble's going to need a miracle here if he wants a chance at a crown jewel. But it's, you know, it's still going to be a good night for Jeff Marble. You come out with a second-place run, nothing to be disappointed about. Same thing for Tyler Marble. A 2-3 finish for the team. Maybe not. No, we're going to get another caution here. They're wrecking down the back. Tyler Marble hard into the inside safer barrier. Drifts back up on track. Caution is out. And Tyler Marble is not going to make it to the end of this 300-mile race as the front end gets torn off. And there you see frustration. A lot of guys tonight, we talked about it, all the endurance, everything you go through the whole night to make it to the end. And again, it's going to come up short here for Tyler Marble. There's been a lot of races this season where it has come up so close to making it to the end and just not quite worked out. And that car is junk. Man, he was having a good run too. I was just saying that it was going to be a 2-3 finish for Team Marble iRacing. Oh my goodness. Well, let's go back and look at it here. I'm watching the driver cam here. We're not going to show it, but he is not a happy man right now. See what the contact was and who it was with here. So we go to the chopper view. And Tyler, oh, that was weird. Car almost like snapped. That was really weird. Did he get? Let's go back to the cockpit view here again. Watch this. Oh, he's already loose. He's really loose. In fact, here through most of the corner. What happens here? Watch from the chopper view again here. Right there, Tyler's loose. He's loose. He's loose. He's fighting it. He's fighting it. He's still loose. Oh, that's what it is. So he was loose. He was loose. He kept fighting it, and then as he got it, was that? I wonder if there was a little bit of netcode right there. That's my only guess, is I think there was a little bit of netcode right here. Watch it. Watch the car here. Let's see. Does he get it straight and then it snaps? Well, no, there was some wheel input there, so this might have just been Tyler still trying to save the car here. Yeah, I think it was. So just loose, and unfortunately, the 99 gets to his outside. It's just wrong place, wrong time for Michael Mueller, and they make contact, and the 48 gets tagged out back from Sean Kaltenbach, sends him into the safer barrier, and, you know, I don't think he gets away with it. It's still heavy damage, but maybe not quite race-ending damage if he hits a little bit further or a little bit sooner on the safer barrier, but instead he hits that little cutout where safety vehicles would go through, and that's what cost him all the damage that he gets right there. That opening in the wall. Bang, that's a huge hit. Almost 4 tires off the ground. As we give you one more look at this here from TV3. And so it brings out your third caution of the night, and it will put us into overtime number 1. We got 3 attempts total at overtime. However, if we can make it to the white flag, then this race would be official on the first one. It is Austin Fitzgerald still leading. However, this has given new life to Jeff Marble. Sits in second, Quentin Clark third, Michael Mueller fourth, and Ty Iopolito rounding out the top 5. Lights are still on the pace car, so while we have a quick moment here, see if we can get one more interview here from potentially, let's see how Jeff Marble's feeling here. And actually looks like as it stands right now, he is deafened and muted, so not going to be able to get a word with him. So bring up the man who's out in front then, Austin Fitzgerald, see how he's feeling for this restart. Hey Austin, this is Austin in the booth, you got a copy?
Hey, I got you.
Well, man, you're in position now all night, fighting to get to the front through green flag runs, but here we are with a couple cautions late. What's going to be the game plan here to fend off Jeff Marble for 2 laps?
Well, yeah, first off, I feel really bad for those guys who got involved in that. You know, it just, yeah, it looks like some lappers maybe got into it. But hey, you know, I'll take it. And what it's going to take right here is first a good start. You know, hopefully I could clear them going into turn 1. And then, I don't know, try to see if any of these guys behind me try to pull a crazy 3-wide move, maybe try to block against that. If it really comes down to it, I think the high line is the place to be where you have the momentum. But yeah, I tried my best to save a little bit of tire there at the end of that last run. So let's see if I saved enough.
Well, you may not necessarily always be known for the short run speed, but you've certainly had it here tonight. And we'll see if it pays off, see if you can get the win. Hopefully we'll talk to you here in a couple laps.
I hope so. Thanks, Austin.
There you go, Austin Fitzgerald. He said he's willing to do what it takes, and as a driver, again, if it's a crown jewel event, you're willing to go a little bit more than maybe you usually would because you know how big of an event it is to win. And Austin Fitzgerald said he saved a little bit of something there for the end. We don't give enough credit to that either. I'll tell you what, as a driver, it's easy if you get in front towards the end of a race to just want to keep pulling away, but if you've got a car fast enough to stay in front, no point in overusing it for this exact situation right here. All right, 2-lap shootout. Overtime number 1, green, white, checkered for the Capital Auto Charlotte 300. If you're just tuning in, boy, you picked a perfect time to do so. Fitzgerald versus Marble, or can one of the Riot Motorsports boys steal it? 2 laps to decide who is going to take home the trophy for one of the biggest races of the season. Here we go, back into the restart zone. Green flag back in the air, 2 laps to go in Charlotte. And it's a great restart for Austin Fitzgerald. That's exactly what he wanted to do. He executed part 1. Quentin Clark, though, he gets a great restart himself as Jeff Marble. Not a good restart. He fades back to about 5th now. And Jeff Marble trying to do whatever he can. This is going to get aggressive off of turn 2. The further back you go, the harder they are racing, but everybody keeps it clean. Here we go. Into turn number 3. Quentin Clark takes a look to the bottom. Austin Fitzgerald run in the middle. Out of turn 4, they got to make it about another 100 feet, and they're going to do it. White flag. Nope, never mind. Caution's out. We're going to try it again. Caution is out. And looking for the trouble, and there it is. Todd Shiro. The number 6 is destroyed. Heavy front nose damage to his car. As looks like he probably hit the inside concrete. Jared Bundy getting reports he may have been involved in this as well. Let's see what happens here to the 6. This is going into turn number 3. And he's by himself. Car gets a little bit... Oh, no, the trouble's in front. Oh, Jared Bundy, that's a hard hit. And then Shiro gets tagged, and boom, off the inside safer barrier he goes. So this wreck actually does start here with Jared Bundy as he was in the middle of this group here. He was racing very, very aggressively. Let's see how it pans out right here. Johnny McCulloch on the inside. Danny Gutierrez. Ooh, Gutierrez is going to try to go for that gap right there. Well, no, I don't think he necessarily went for the gap. He gets into the 3 there. Not sure if Danny Gutierrez just misjudged the run or if the 3 was getting loose here. Let's see what the onboard shows. Yeah, I think Danny just misjudged how big of a run he had there because you heard him get out of the pipes and you actually saw him get a little bit loose. And he might even tap the brakes there. I think Danny just, like I said, realized or didn't quite realize the difference in runs right there. And fortunately, as a result, he gets in the back of Jared Bundy. That's going to get Bundy out of shape here. He gets down into Johnny McCulloch. That'll send him back up the track. Tags Rachel Hunt. Oh, that destroys her left rear suspension. And then Todd Shiro nowhere to go. He's going to tag the 3, and the wreck's not over just yet for the 6. Look at this. Boom. Big hit it into the inside safer barrier there. So that'll be, again, huge damage for both of those cars. Potentially race ending is, look at one more view. 1 or 2 more views here. Todd Shiro, there's the onboard. I'll give you one more look here from the tower. And everybody else, though, able to sneak by here. So a 2-car wreck puts us into our 2nd overtime now. And so as we do go back live, going to be Austin Fitzgerald still lining up on the front row, but this time with Quentin Clark. Ty Iopolito back in 3rd, Jeff Marble 4th, and Sean Kaltenbach rounding out your top 5. Michael Mueller back in 6th, Jeffrey Souza in 7th, Ryan Haynes 8th with Jeff Shutt in 9th, and Thomas O'Hara rounding out your top 10. All right, we'll see if the lights go off this time, and if not, then we'll get an interview here. Potentially your 2nd place running car, and they stay on. So we will go ahead and see if we can get a quick word here. So let's see how Quentin Clark is feeling here. It's been a pretty crazy race for him as well, and now he's maybe not quite in the catbird seat, but certainly in position here to potentially get a win. Hey, Quentin, this is also up in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, Austin, what's up, man?
Well, what a crazy night it's been. Green flag laps for most of the race, but now quite a few caution laps towards the end. You're up 11 spots in total on the night, and here you are. You're in second, first time on the front row for a restart tonight, and maybe the last restart of the night. So what's going to be the game plan here to try to beat this 74 and capture your 4th win of the season?
Just to try not to spin my tires on the top like the top line did last time. I don't know if that's a top line thing coming to the restart, or I mean, we were all in first gear, so I'll just got to be real careful and try to keep on his door and see if we can get the upset again. I definitely did not have the best strategy mid-race, so I'm excited to have a chance here.
All right, well, we'll let you get prepared here. Hey, you know what? Sometimes you get put in these positions by a little bit of luck, but it takes skill to get the job done, and you put yourself in that spot. So we'll see if we're maybe talking to you here in a couple laps in victory lane.
Appreciate you, man. Fingers crossed.
There you go. Quentin Clark, he's ready to go, and so are we. And if you're just tuning in, well, good news. It was already going to be the longest race of the season, but hey, why not try to make the record even more here with some bonus laps? And we are officially over the 300-mile limit. And we're close. I think we're pretty close here to potentially running more laps than they did in the actual NASCAR race. And yes, I am still upset about that one. I feel like, I don't know, just while we're under caution here, I'm curious if anybody else in the chat has an opinion on it. I feel like for the Crown Jewel events, for the real-life NASCAR races, any of the Crown Jewel events, the Daytona 500, the Coke 600, the Brickyard, you know, the Southern 500, I don't think they should ever cancel a race from rain for the Crown Jewels. I think any of those should be that they have to complete all the laps even if they postpone it to the next day. But that's just my opinion. But I think people pay way too much money to go to those races. I mean, I know how much a ticket is to the 500, and I would be pissed for it to get canceled due to rain. But nonetheless, back on track we go here. So we again get ready for what is going to be the second green-white checkered. Got to make it to the white flag for it to be official. If not, though, then we will drag them up and try one more time. All right, here we go. Austin Fitzgerald, Quentin Clark, both drivers already with multiple wins on the season and looking for more. Here we go. Can Iopolito or Marble in row 2 steal it? Green flag back in the air at Charlotte. Good restart. Oh, they spin him on the outside. Quentin Clark, big tire spin on the outside. That's going to stack him up. Fitzgerald pulls away, but Ty Iopolito got a phenomenal restart as well. Those two are teammates, so I'm not sure how aggressive they will race each other right here, but it is, again, a Crown Jewel win. How bad do you want it? Ty Iopolito's got a win on the season as well, but it was at a super speedway. Could he potentially try to steal one here on a mile and a half? Sean Kaltenbach files into third. Working through turn number 3, out back. They're looking dicey as they're splitting 3 wide. One of them's going through the middle. I think it's Tracy Powers. Here we go. White flag in the air. This race is official. 1 to go at Charlotte. Ty Iopolito starts to fade back. Austin Fitzgerald now gets out to about a 2-car length lead. Up to the top of the racetrack. They both go looking for a draft. It's not going to be enough. 1 set of corners to go. Ty Iopolito, does he have anything? He doesn't. Fitzgerald, one of the best cars on the night, got a little bit of luck with a late caution, but he was able to fend him off through the overtimes. The 74, Austin Fitzgerald, wins the Capital Auto Charlotte 300. Tacks on another win for Dynamic Autosport. Now, what a place to do it at. And he will bring it down to celebrate. I do have to get going here, so we are going to be a little bit quicker through the post-race festivities, and that will mean getting right to your race results here. That's everybody finishes up here tonight. But man, what a win for Fitzgerald. I mean, he may not have had the best car all night, but when he got in position, he executed the best. And it paid off as a result. Of course, him getting the win here tonight. And so that'll help, of course, his No Bull 5 standings as well. Ty Iopolito, look at that. Got a second place finish. We talked about if he could have a good finish, and he did just that. All right, so looking at your results here tonight, Austin Fitzgerald wins it. Ty Iopolito in second. Jeff Marble third. Jeffrey Souza in fourth. Sean Kaltenbach in fifth. Quentin Clark sixth. Jeff Shutt in seventh. Tracy Powers in eighth. Michael Mueller in ninth. And Brandon Saylor Rounds out your top 10. Ryan Haynes at 11th. GT Hawkins in 12th. Ryan Shiro in 13th. Cody Matthews 14th. Johnny McCulchuk in 15th. Mark Sabak 16th. Wesser Jr. in 17th. Matthew Gearinger in 18th. Running at your top 20 here tonight is going to be Glenn Grigsby and Kenneth Bartholomew. Finishing in that 21st spot is Andrew Mraz, Tyler Marble 22nd, Kyle Oakley in 23rd, Thomas O'Hara 24th, Brian Conklin in 25th, Bill Benedict 26th, Danny Gutierrez in 27th, Scott Glasso 28th, Christopher Hall 29th, and Jared Bundy rounding out your top 30. Rachel Hunt 31st, Todd Shiro 32nd, Jacob Musso 33rd, Alan Pajari 34th, Andrew Russo 35th, Brett Spott 36th, Anthony Handley finishes in 37th. All right, we're going to go get your top 3 in here for interviews. Stay with us. We'll be right back at Charlotte. All right, welcome back to Charlotte Motor Speedway, where we're going to start first here tonight with your third place finisher. Coming off a good run, and that is, give me just a moment here, to Jeff Marble. Let's see if we can pull him up. Hey, Jeff, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
Good. Well, you bring home a podium tonight. Overall, a lot of green flag laps through the 3/4 of the race. Got a little messy there at the end, but nonetheless, you're able to scrap a podium out of it. Tell us about how you felt about the race and overall how you felt about the last couple restarts there.
Well, I had a really piss poor qualifying effort. Good Lord, I was like 5/10 off the pace. I don't know what happened there. So starting in the rear of the pack and just kind of stuck there in no man's land there for a long time. I'm like, well, I'm kind of screwed here. Then I just started to migrate up to the top lane. I was able to pass a bunch of cars and finally made it up to somewhere in the top 10 before that first yellow come out, which was right before the green flag cycle. Really wanted to see that cycle go through to see what would happen. But we still got 2 pits, 2 green flag cycles after that, and it was refreshing to see. Different strategies. We had early pitters trying to leapfrog people, and we had late pitters hoping for a caution not to get caught as a wave around. And that last restart, not the last one, the second to last one where I started on the front row. Wow. I was watching the miles per hour because it's my job as an admin to make sure these guys aren't speeding, and I'm staring at the mile an hour thingy, and I got Quentin behind me pushing me up to 57 miles an hour. Meanwhile, I'm trying to stay next to Austin, and I just totally missed the start, and those guys just walked me. And then Quentin was on the last restart. I think both of us spun our wheels because I was super sideways behind Quentin. I think he was sideways too, and unfortunately that low lane got away, and I don't know, came home with the P3. I guess I can't hang my head too low with that.
Certainly not, especially in one of the crown jewels of the season. Well, before we let you head out here tonight with the podium finish, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, first of all, you and Ghost Racing Network. SimRacerHelp.com, Butt Kicker. Of course, can't forget. Capital Auto Group should have been first. It was their night tonight, the title sponsor of our Noble Series. So, iRacingIFlag.com. Damn it, I forgot it. If I forgot somebody else, I apologize.
It's all good, and I'll tell you what. Hey, you got a third place finish. It was an endurance race, so if you forgot anybody, I don't think they're going to be too upset. But, hey, we appreciate you talking to us up here in the booth, and we will see you next week.
All right, real quick, one thing I do want to thank is all of the members of this league. To have that many cars this far into the season is a testament to their dedication to come race with us week in and week out. Without these guys showing up, there is no fast track, and there's still a Ghost Racing Network, but not with us on Monday nights. So I like to give a shout out to the entire league and our truck series too, which is pretty strong too.
Absolutely. Well, again, thanks for talking to us, Jeff, and we'll see you next week.
All right, thank you.
All right, now that'll bring us to your second place finisher here tonight, Ty Ippolito. Ty, this is Austin in the booth. Got a copy.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Well, you bring home second. You come up just a little bit short. Was there anything that you thought you could have done differently there at the end to maybe catch your teammate?
I don't think so. Austin's a really fast driver, and I think maybe if I had a couple more green flag laps, I was a little bit better in 3 and 4. I might be able to catch him, but yeah, congrats to him for a good win.
Well, you may not have got the win tonight, but I would count it as a win because with that second place finish, I think your average finish for the No Bull 5 Challenge to 3 races is something like 1.5, or I mean, it's ridiculous. You got, I think, a second, first, second. So you're looking good there for the end of the season bonus with that. So before we let you head out here tonight to cap off a second place finish, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, that's awesome with the No Bull 5 program. I want to thank Spartan Sim Racing Graphics. I want to thank all the boys on Dynamic Autosports. And I want to thank you guys for doing the broadcast.
Absolutely, and thank you for talking to us. Congrats again on the second place finish, and we'll see you next week at Gateway.
Thank you.
All right, now that'll bring us to tonight's race winner, Austin Fitzgerald. Austin, this is Austin Booth. Got a copy.
Hey, I got you.
Well, you won one of the biggest races of the year, a crown jewel, the Capital Auto Charlotte 300. And man, we talked about those last couple restarts, what were you going to have to do, but it didn't seem like you had to do all that. It was pretty tame. The car was fast. You stayed out in front. How were you able to hold on there towards the end?
Well, huge thanks to Ty, because he gave me a push there on that last restart, and that pushed me in front of Quentin and helped me clear him. We both cleared him, so it was great. So Dynamic Autosports won too, which is awesome. But yeah, so that push was huge. I think saving a little bit of tire there, before those cautions came out, that helped. I've been in this situation with Quentin before, and he had my number both times. So he's got the best of me. So I'm happy that I could finally return the favor to him and beat him on one of those head-to-head restarts like that on the final laps. But yeah, it was a great race again. I feel bad for GT and Jared. They had amazing cars, especially Jared. I maybe had something for him a little bit on the longer run there. I had an issue in the pit stop. We all came in like, front to back on that last green flag pit stop, and I shot through my box and I lost like a second on both of them. And I figured that was it for me. But yeah, unfortunately they got involved in that wreck, but hey, I'll take it. I mean, a lot of racing is just kind of, one part of me feels like I sold that, but at the same time, part of racing is just, kind of putting yourself in a position where you could capitalize on, something like that happening to the leaders,
Absolutely, and you capitalized here tonight with another win on the season. So before we let you head out to go celebrate in Victory Lane, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
As always, thanks to my family, Acoustic Design Systems. If you're in the Las Vegas area, you have any audio video needs, head over to acousticdesignlv.com and get you taken care of. Thank you, man, for all the broadcasts. You do an amazing job. I've probably got a real future in this, honestly. Yeah, thanks to Jeff and Tyler putting on the league. Happy Memorial Day to everybody out there. And thanks for everybody, showing up this Memorial Day and racing. It's awesome to have a full field just about every week.
Absolutely, and
shout out to Dynamic Autosports. I always want to, thank those guys for the hard work they help put into the sets and everything. And yeah, I don't think I'd have the speed without them.
Absolutely, and paying off with the 1-2 finish tonight. Well, thanks again for talking to us, Austin. Congrats on the win, and we'll see you next week at Gateway.
Yep, see you, Austin.
All right, that's going to wrap up our coverage here tonight. We certainly appreciate Austin Fitzgerald saying there might be a future in it. Hey, if y'all know anybody that needs broadcasters, make sure you let me know. But nonetheless, getting back to tonight's action, heartbreak for Jared Bundy and GT Hawkins. I agree, and I think Fitzgerald tagged on it. Maybe something towards the end, but overall, those two were the fastest cars, got tangled up with lappers. But at the same time, Fitzgerald, he said it right. Sometimes it's all about being able to capitalize when you get put in the right position, and he did just that. So that'll wrap up our coverage here tonight from Charlotte. As always, thank you all so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed. We'll be back next week at Gateway. Until then, have a good night.